Good morning, everybody, and welcome to episode 17 of Crazy About Gaming. I am here, you are here, and we're all here because we are crazy about gaming. All right, yes. I am fired up this morning. The coffee hasn't quite kicked in yet, but we have got a dynamite show. Even better, got a dynamite panel for you this morning. But let's catch up with the chat real quick before we bring them all back in. And say hello to the people that obviously make this worth getting out of bed for in the morning, especially our good buddy Talos Ray is in the building bright and early. I guess it's almost in the evening his time. But yeah, good to see you, Talos. Good morning to you. We've got D487 who is here bright and early as well. And he, as always, comes in with the big support, throwing out the big guns, $10 super chat, Sunday, fun day, always a good morning with Crazy at Gaming, the best host with the most. Thanks, D, brother. I greatly appreciate that. You are fantastic as always. We got Scott, P8N, hanging out with us this morning. Good to see you, brother. Thanks for being here. Satius is in the building. Satius, bro, we got to get back on that Arizona sunshine, bro. We got to finish that one up, eh? Hit me up. Lord Metroid is in the house. Brother Metroid, dude, I got to get you back on this panel as well, like ASAP, very, very soon. Maybe next week, man. Maybe next week. Obviously, we'll have a Xbox Showcase reaction show. Today, it's kind of a prediction show, what we think we're going to expect. We're going to talk a little bit about the whole, the logo conundrum that's been kind of making all the hay waves right now. We got Pink Pickles in the building. And many more to show up here in a minute. But let's start with our incredible guest, and then we'll start off with the one, the only, to say his name, it's Fzah 928. That's right, and he's going to be kind of like that today. Yeah, what's going on, Fzah? Good to see you, brother.
Now that I'm thoroughly terrified of you, no, I'm kidding. This is going to be great. I'm excited too. I'm fired up. I got my coffee. I'm ready to go. So,
all right, he's on the deck of the Starship Enterprise, ready to beam you up this morning. All right, I don't know about beaming up, but he's ready to maybe knock something up this morning. Here we go. Perry is in the building. aka the Gang Complainers. He's ready to roll. What's going on, brother Perry?
What's going on? I mean, another day, another set of news. So there you go.
Another day and another set of rakes. Let's go. All right.
I don't know.
Chat's rolling. Axeman 3008 is in the building. What's going on, Axeman? Good to see you, brother. And last but not least, we will point out that American TimDog will be here at some point. He's going to be running quite a bit late. But we're hoping that we'll get him in before we hit the tail end of the show because I think he's got some important opinions and maybe he's going to have some important news drops for us. What the heck is that? You got a lemon?
Yeah, I got lemons. So I can squeeze up my eyes later.
That's how you cry on command. You squeeze
Oh, man. All right. And we got the one, the only Fun Speculation, a.k.a. Mav. You guys know him and love him. And here he is to be with us. I think it's his first time appearance on this particular podcast. Well, he's been with me before, but it's good to have him back into the fold because can't wait to hear what he's got to say about all the things that have been happening in the gaming conundrum over the past little while. Good morning, Mav.
What is going on, guys? It's good to be back here with you, Noof. I know this is the first time, like you said, on this show, but we've
we've done
it's been a while though, before
way too long, brother. Way too long, man. Way too long.
Yeah, I mean, but it's good to be here, dude. It's good to hang out with you, Fzah and Perry, and we get to talk some games. And looking forward to seeing TimDog later because I'm really curious what he has to say based on his Twitter yesterday. It was very interesting. So yes. Yeah, it should be a fun show with some predictions. Yeah. This is kind of like speculation season at its finest, right? So kind of goes on brand when we have showcase season. So I love it, man. Let's get into it.
I love it. It's fun speculation, and there is lots of speculation indeed. Yeah, and you might want to hang outside of TimDog's house here in the next couple of weeks. Sounds like he's about ready to have a garage sale of every proportion. So he probably with all the Xbox stuff he's bought and would sell, you could probably put a kid through college with that shit, I'm sure. All right. But anyway, let's get right into it. Yes, guys, everybody, thanks for being here. And community is part of what's the best part about Xbox. And I think, we're still part of the glue that holds the fabric together. Community game nights are a testament to that. And Mav, I know, like I said to you on a private DM a while back, I think you hosted a bunch of fantastic Halo nights yourself not too long ago. Well, I guess it's a couple of years ago now. It's been that long, but we used to have a great group of people used to come out to those, and we had some epic nights playing Halo Master Chief Collection and stuff. So hopefully we'll be able to get back maybe that some evening. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, man.
All right. So let's get in. We're going to start off with on a positive note here, guys, this morning, because we got to talk about one of the most anticipated releases in the past couple of years. It is a major franchise. It is a major beloved character around the world. We are talking about 007, James Bond. And this game coming out from IO Interactive and published for Amazon MGM Games. And which is kind of odd because notoriously a lot of these James Bond games have been under the EA banner. So we're gonna talk to the panel about this game. We're gonna talk about maybe your favorite old James Bond games. I actually got the chance to play one for the first time last night, believe it or not. Late at night last night, I was making sure my Xbox and stuff was up to date and had all the games, and I was playing 007 from Russia with Love from the original Xbox era. Pretty cool. Good old Sean Connery. I was actually having quite a bit of fun with that. So, we're going to get right into 007 is out. I haven't played a lot of it yet because I've been kind of bouncing between Forza Horizon 6, and then I was streaming some of that Mind's Eye the other night. And like I said, just been kind of all over the board. And I'm taking my time with games. Like I don't have to sit there and burn through them in a day or two. Like it's fun sometimes to just kind of just savor the flavor, I guess you could say. And do it that way. So let's give a shout out one more time to the chat, and then we're going to get right into the topic. We've got Cougar Man is in the building. What's going on, brother Cougar Man? Good to see you, dude. We've also got my good friend Seamus Kelly is hanging out with us this morning. Good to see you, Shamo, and I'll see you later on this afternoon on Community Game Night. We've also got another super chat coming in from my name is Captain Kent. She drops £2. Take that. Who wants to read it out? I'll let one of my guests take it away. Fzah, you want to be the honors? You want to be the reading man, the narrator?
Sure. This is a boom, boom, kaboom of a panel. 5 legends.
Yes, one legend running typically late. He's kind of like some of those WWE superstars,
He's a celebrity, so it's got to be a little late.
That's right. He's going to break the walls down. All right, so let's start off with 007. We're going to start with our esteemed guest this morning. Mr. Mav, have you had a chance to play First Light? What are your impressions of the game so far? Now, obviously, IO was quick to point out that they did about 1.5 million copies right on day one, which is pretty impressive for, like I wouldn't say this game even had as much marketing as you would think that it would have had. But how do you feel about it, man, if you had a chance to play it at all?
Yeah, I haven't had a chance yet. I'm going to get it down to probably in the next few weeks or so, but I've been watching clips. I've been seeing some gameplay as watching Mag actually play it. A little bit, and it looks absolutely awesome. I was always wondering how this game was going to turn out, because like IO Interactive's first kind of big thing since Hitman. And this stepping out of the box and doing something different. I remember seeing a lot of the first gameplay reveals, and some of them which I thought they looked awesome, but you heard people be like, I don't know how I feel about this and stuff. So it was awesome to see it come out and actually hit the way it did. It's got great reviews. Everybody that I know that's been playing it is absolutely loving it so far. So that's awesome, man. I'm happy for IO Interactive because now they kind of got 2 franchises. I feel like they could go back to making more Bond games with different stories, continue this story of this version, and they got that, but they've also kind of proven themselves that they don't just have to do Hitman. And there was another game that they were linked to that was supposed to be like a Xbox game, is like Project Dragon or something like that. I don't know whatever happened with that thing, or if it ended up still being picked up by somebody else or whatever. But I'm curious now, seeing the action sequences and how well they do other things other than just that pure stealth, what they can do in all these different kinds of genres, man. So IO's definitely taking a step up here, and 1.5 mil in the first few days. I mean, that's a huge accomplishment for a studio making an IP game for the first time, So, man, this year's gonna be crazy when it comes down to
this
game
does come out for this. Perry, I think you can answer this. This one is supposed to come out for the Switch, right?
I believe so. I'm not sure.
I think they coming out at a later date, but it's coming.
Cool. I would definitely like to pick it up on Switch for sure. Down the road here.
Yeah,
Great reaction.
It'll probably look like GoldenEye or something when it comes out on the Switch.
Yeah. Actually, Switch 2 has been surprising the hell out of me, man. With the Resident Evil port, looked pretty damn good. Very competent port there. I'm going to be quite interested to see how the new Call of Duty is going to look and play on. Like I said, I might even double dip on this one this year. I'm definitely interested in it. We'll talk about Call of Duty in a few minutes too, because they dropped that trailer this week. Like I said, it was a lot of positives out there in the gaming world this week, and it's kind of mixed reaction. I see some people in the community, Call of Duty looks like this and like that and everything else, and there's other people that are freaking out. I'm more on the freaking out side. It looks like I love the Modern Warfare series particular anyway, and I love the setting, and hopefully the multiplayer is just a little more, if you could call it, normal. But we'll get into that in a second. So yeah, 007 First Light, fantastic. Anybody else on this panel have a chance to jump into it? And it's kind of funny because when IO Interactive started doing Hitman, I'm pretty sure a lot of us have probably played it and get, man, this character has a lot of sort of similarities to James Bond, only he's a little bit more, behind the shadows and more secretive, where Bond is kind of out in the middle of everything. Bond's not sneaking around. The only time Bond sneaks around is sneaking into ladies' rooms and getting with all the hotties. But
can you change clothes in Bond like you can in Hitman? Because that's the funnest thing in Hitman is when you just like change clothes and hang out in different environments.
Unfortunately not. I mean, throughout the game, he does have different outfits on. He's not stuck in in a tuxedo the whole game. I mean,
what's funny is nobody ever notices the huge barcode on the back of his head.
That would be funny. They should make a parody where he's walking through the crowd and somebody walks up behind him in stealth and scans him with the barcode.
They need to change it for if they do a new Hitman, they need to, because the time that we're in, they need to make it a QR code instead.
Oh my god, that'd be hilarious. Yeah, if you pause the game and scan his neck, some kind of prize or some shit. But oh my god, that'd be funny. How about you, Fzah? Have you had a chance to dabble with First Light at all?
I sure did. And it's funny because even up until last week, I was telling Perry, I was like, I'm not going to get this game till it's on sale. It's not going to be good. I love the old games, but I just thought this game wasn't going to be good. Then I saw Perry playing it and he was streaming it. And I was like, crap, I got to get this game. So I ran out and bought it on PlayStation.
Yeah, nice.
And I actually bought it physically, which is not like me. But I grabbed it. I played about, an hour or two. I got past all the training stuff. And it's really fun. I mean, the combat is super smooth and solid. The gunplay is good. The movement is good. It's just really smooth. And the graphics are incredible. They just put a lot of effort into this. And you can tell that this is a high budget, high effort title, which I was not expecting at all. So I'm very pleased.
Yeah, do you feel obviously the massive amount of pressure, because notoriously most of the Bond games that have come out in past years have been, either good to almost excellent, and you're dealing with sort of an international beloved property, and it was kind of either one of those make or break games, in my opinion. Do you feel the same way? Because what if they flubbed it? What if this game just came out and was an absolute turd?
We wouldn't see Bond for another 20 years. I think
exactly.
There was already 12 years, I believe, between the last one and this one. It was something crazy like that, an insane amount of time.
Now, what was the last James Bond game that came out?
Was it Bloodstone?
Yeah,
you might be right. It's been a long time. I know it's crazy because during the 360, wasn't the 360 and even the original Xbox era, the 360, how many Bond games did we get? We had Agent on Fire? Was it Agent on Fire?
Agent Under Fire, Nightfire from Russia with
Love.
Agent on Fire. There was another one too, wasn't there? There was
Quantum of Solace. My ass is on fire.
Quantum of Solace.
Quantum of Solace?
Early
360.
That one was really good. It was like a Call of Duty clone. Yeah, the multiplayer was really fun on that game.
Damn straight. Everything or nothing. That was great in the Pierce Brosnan game, and it was third person because they bounce back and forth for the first person, third person. I'm kind of glad they chose the third person for this game. I don't know how you guys feel on that.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah,
it's good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Would you prefer to see Bond in the screen or feel more like you are Bond just seeing the gun?
Well, this one has a lot more platforming mechanics and almost like Uncharted and stuff. So you kind of have to see them. If It makes more sense that way, and it plays better like that. So,
how'd you feel about the combat? Because like for me, I'm not that far in the game, but I thought that whole training sequence was very cool and unique.
it's very smooth, like the way you can just parry, and then like he goes into the next move. Like it just feels like fluid, which is nice. It's not clunky.
Yeah, it's really cool, and just the way they did it, like they had these little segments where you weren't sitting there for 5 minutes trying to complete like all these complex maneuvers, but just to kind of give you a taste of what you're in for. I thought it was really well done.
Well, they show you like actual applicable situations in the game where you're going to use the combat instead of just being like, oh, parry 3 times. You know what I mean? Like they show you a little bit more. So,
and no crappy stamina system either.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Run 5 feet and take a breather.
Oh, I know.
That's too realistic. That's like real life,
That's like me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I don't want to play as me.
A bowl of cereal. Like Hitman Blood Money, play first and third persons back then. Yeah, some games give you the choice. Yeah, what's going on, guys? Good to see the chat. Everybody's rocking and rolling. People coming in. Make sure you hit that like, share this stuff out. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I haven't finished it. I'm sure you guys probably haven't finished it yet. Have you played or finished it? Anybody on the panel? They say it's about 10 hours long? 10 hours?
Something like that.
Which honestly, I think is fine. And realistically, it's probably this is probably going to be the target, I think, for most games moving forward, because I think the budgets just get way out of hand when you start stretching games too long. And I think, with a lot of us, with our time and money now, it's just like, I don't know, man, 40, 50 hour games, I think are great when you're if you're buying 2 games a year, I think that's a great thing to have. But I think, when you're buying multiple games, you got to respect people's time. We don't all have, 40 hours to play one game alone when you got 5 games coming out in the run of 2 week span. That's just how I feel about it. I mean, everybody varies on that opinion. I mean, are you guys cool with those sweet spots? Are you kind of cool with that 10, 12, 15 hour mark on most games?
No, I'm cool with it.
I haven't. Yeah, I am too. But I do have a question about where this could go. Because IO Interactive has a history with crazy good support for Hitman, and that's traditionally a single player game as well. But they introduce interesting community components to it over time, the contracts set up by people, all these different kind of things. And I'm wondering, with the success of this game, I know it doesn't have multiplayer or anything traditionally like that, but Bond does have some history with big multiplayer games. Like GoldenEye was one of the most famous popular multiplayer games ever, right? You had some in the 360 era that had some pretty good multiplayer as well. I'm not saying they absolutely need to do it, but I do wonder if there's some kind of continued thing they can do, even if it's not with this game or maybe future games, to kind of keep the longevity, replayability kind of alive for a game like this. If it is that good, you know what I mean? It's good to have something to keep going back to. And that's been part of the hit magic with Hitman for them ever since they became independent, is to be able to grow based on selling copies of Hitman for long periods of time, because they keep adding stuff to it,
Yeah.
So I would be interested to see if they can take that. I know it's probably different because of licensing and stuff like that, what kind of contracts do they have there, but it's something I would like to see them kind of explore for sure.
I think you're onto something there. And yeah, they have notoriously for their Hitman games usually add upgraded or extra content down the road. I would not be surprised with the success of this game that it doesn't get a little something while we wait for perhaps a sequel to this game. I heard someone say they kind of have a potential trilogy lined up here, but I guess a lot of it depends on how well, this game sells. And we know that the gaming landscape is going to change a lot here, I think, in the next couple of years. Especially from the console standpoint and the prices of these damn things. So go ahead, Perry. Just give us your impressions on the game. What do you think about it? What stood out to you so far? I mean, obviously there was a bit of controversy as well with the actor, and maybe some of the actors. Obviously, it's not your typical James Bond. We don't have an old gray-haired lady as Q, or and that sort of thing. Or was it M? Sorry, M, because
M is
Q is the tech gadget guy. Moneypenny, obviously she's a cute little black girl in this game. Very similar, I guess, to Naomi. I forget the last name. Naomi, who played her in the Daniel Craig ones. Only this one has more of that sort of that's a quasi nerdy kind of look going on, as opposed to trying to be that, because typically Moneypenny's sort of been that, that side girl, for James Bond in the background with a little bit of a sexiness flair to it. We did see some bikini girls apparently appear in this game, which almost shocked the hell out of me, because I was like, man, there's actually a girl in a bikini in a video game these days. Wow. And it's coming out of obviously it's done a North American developer. Maybe that's got something to do with it. Because IO Interactive, they're out of what is it, Sweden somewhere? Or aren't they overseas?
Something like that.
Yeah, I think they're like Danish or Dutch, or I don't know. They're definitely not a
Danish.
Yeah.
It says.
Yeah, Danish. Yeah, they're not a North American dev. Not that it really makes a whole lot of difference, but at the same time, we've kind of seen the trend with North American devs with the crazy I don't know, man. There's one thing I'm going to say about Playground Games and that Forza Horizon 6 is that character thing at the start of the game, that was dog shit. And I'm not even talking about just the whole pronoun crap. I'm talking just the characters. I'm trying to find a dude that actually, as a white dude, I'm trying to find a dude who looks like a fucking dude you'd want to play. Where's my Paul Walker lookalike dude in there? Or Vin Diesel lookalike dude or something, They got these fucking nerdy ass weird fucking cauliflower head motherfuckers in there. What the fuck? Yeah, see, I told you this is going to get gaming after dark level today.
They won't let you make fat people either. I wanted to make a big fat guy, but it wouldn't let
no fat people, no big breasted people, no nothing. It's just what the hell, right?
Make a 6'5" fat guy and try and put him in a golf GTI.
That's what I want.
Hilarious. Yeah.
That's what I want. He's spilling out of the sides of it.
The physics are real, and the suspension craters.
Yeah, they need the big fucking redneck guy to jump out of the truck once in a while, right? The big redneck, the big fucking right? It's all about immersion, dude.
Maybe
off track here. Let's get back to James Bond. But anyway, Perry, you feel with the game, man?
I'm about 2 hours in.
Nice.
And I enjoy every minute of it. I wasn't gonna buy this game originally. I was like, it's probably gonna be a Hitman clone, whatever. I love Hitman, the old Hitman games. Played the newer ones. They're okay for me. I really like Blood Money. That's my favorite one.
Same.
But I was like, this looks like a clone Hitman, whatever. I'll pass. I'll wait. Like Frank, I'll wait till it's on sale or something. Well, I ended up building a computer and the graphics card came with it. So I was like, well, now I have to check it out. And boy, I'm glad I checked it out because this game is fantastic. And I might even pick it up on a console in a little bit. So
yeah. I like that you said it, because after my impression of it, and like I said, I like the Hitman games, but I wouldn't say I've ever loved them. And part of the reason being is Hitman is largely based on how well at stealth that you are. And unlike, another great stealth guy, Sam Fisher in Splinter Cell, Splinter Cell is a little more forgiving, where if you kind of suck at stealth, you can go fucking loud and just roll people. Whereas with Assassin, Hitman, it is largely about, the best part about Hitman's always been the creativity, right? Is about the ways that you can take people out. There's usually always multiple directives or ways that you can do that. But because I really suck at most stealth games, I never really got into Hitman, because it's I'd screw up over and over and over again, just constantly, you know what I mean? It's anybody who's ever watched me stream knows that stealth and puzzles are my Achilles ankles or Achilles heels or whatever. So yeah, but I'm enjoying what I had. I was shocked with the intro of the game too, sort of the backstory kind of stuff and what happened there. They're really doing their own take on this game. And as far as that actor that plays James Bond, I thought he's pretty good. Again, because you're going with the young guy. It's obviously start of his career, which is going to be interesting, because if they ever get to part 3, it'll be interesting to see how the timeline changes in between this intro, where he's not really the fully fledged 007 that you kind of know and love, to perhaps the the kind of guy that we've generally kind of known to love through the movies and the other games as you progress. So,
yeah, I really like how this game feels like an actual Bond movie. I'm playing it, but I'm also watching what's going on in the cutscenes. Yes. And it's I don't feel games have really. There have been games like that over the years for sure. But this kind of feels more like the 360 era of when games were trying to be like
Yes.
movie style games.
Yeah.
That's what it brought me back and felt like a little bit. So
Which is
One other
also
thing about
why-
this game, I got to give them props to as well, is because this is like a big game. This is a pretty big game release. They did the Xbox Play Anywhere thing, right? So I know that when I buy it, I don't have to make that decision of buying it on PC or Xbox. It needs to become like a standard for the industry, though. So anytime a developer, especially on a big release like this, does that, I'm going to give them praise for it. So I'm gonna be able to play it on the Xbox. I'm gonna be able to play it on my PC when I'm sitting here. I'll be able to play it in bed if I'm playing on the Ally. So it just options, man. More developers need to do that. And guess what? It didn't hurt their sales by doing Play Anywhere. You know what I mean? Like I'm sick of that narrative of like, oh, they don't want to do it because they want people to double. Man, how many people are gonna double dip on some of these games? Like
absolutely, yeah.
Let's just be real. Like it's not going to be that common of a thing. Let's just support this because that should be the way for every game, really.
Absolutely. Play Anywhere is a huge thing, especially like I said, for those of us entrenched more into the Xbox ecosystem, to be able to take those games on the go, and then they need that stuff too. You're obviously still trying to sell, and partner with Asus and the ROG allies and stuff, and get more of those out in the world. So. Yeah, so it seems like the chat's been playing this game, and it seems like the impressions have been good. The panel is obviously pretty impressed with it. So, if you guys get a chance to pick it up, whether you pick it up early or perhaps wait for a sale later on in the year, which is quite likely considering that the rest of the fall is going to be packed, and I wouldn't be surprised if a game like this does get a bit of a drop to try to compete a little heavier. Seamus bringing up a couple of great ones. GoldenEye, Agent Under Fire. I mean, look, GoldenEye, it is what it is. GoldenEye was the pioneer game, I think, for James Bond, and from a video game standpoint, was sort of like what kind of put him on the map in terms of an interactive world. You go back and play GoldenEye today, not, it's good, but it's not like, for me personally, it's not the game you kind of remember. Like, it was just better at the time because it was a pioneering kind of game. But shooters have evolved a lot since that early day. I think the best memories we've had of GoldenEye aren't necessarily so much as the game itself, but it was just like it's the memories you made with your friends playing LAN or like playing in a house, 4-player split screen. That was the key. That was the shifter. And it just looked really good back on the N64 back in the day. And it was a great selling title. I'm sure it was a big hit for Nintendo that they were kind of like, wow. And it was rare too that actually made that, oddly enough, right? Back in the day when the brand still was worth more than 10 cents. Anyway, taking a shot at Rare here this morning because Rare rarely puts out a fucking game.
Nonsense. They're working on Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, the 5,000 expansion. Must be growing some greenhouse weed over there. I don't know what's going on here with their friggin' panels, solar panels. New for you, happy for Rayman 30th anniversary. Man, holy crap. Speaking of old games, Rayman 30th anniversary. Yeah, that shit's classic, man. Like, who didn't love Rayman back in the day? Certainly one of the most underappreciated gems of any era, I think, is Rayman. They've had a lot of solid games too, and the one that came out, the last one that came out was actually really, really good. What was it called? Rayman Legends?
Legends. Yeah.
Yeah, that was actually really, really good. It had some great level design in it. Great graphics too. Bubsy 4D is out. I know Wicked Hot's in the chat, and he's super excited. He's been touting that the whole time. And thank God it's not like a full price title. It's only like in Canada, it's like $26, which is not bad at all. So go check out Bubsy 4D if that floats your boat. Wicked Hot loves Bubsy 4D because it's one way he's guaranteed to have endless supply of pussy for a couple of days.
Ooh.
There we go. Everybody's like, "Oh, Gaming After Dark's back." All right.
It only took him 35 minutes until he did.
Yes, the theme song, the actors. So before we kind of wrap up this conversation, any more thoughts on this particular game? How about her? Anybody? Any thoughts on this game?
I think it's fantastic, and I think the chat. I know some of you guys are playing it. I think you all need to check it out and decide maybe it's something you want to pick up and play it maybe this weekend, even though this weekend's over. But Maybe pick it up and play it next weekend. Who knows? Have fun.
All right. Okay. And last question for the panel and for the chat. I want to know first your favorite Bond movie, your favorite Bond actor, and then your favorite Bond video game. Go ahead, Mav. Can you come up with some?
I think my favorite actor is really hard because I keep going back and forth between two because it was like what I grew up with in a way.
Right.
And then what I've appreciated recently. I honestly think the Daniel Craig movies were probably the better movies, right? But something about Pierce Brosnan as Bond was just really fun. But when I was a kid, my first introduction to Bond was Timothy Dalton. And those were like just really fun. Like he had like crazy gadgets and stuff like that. And those, so I have maybe like the most nostalgia memories for Timothy Dalton. Growing up, it was Pierce Brosnan, but I think I got a appreciation as an adult for Daniel Craig because it was more of a serious take on it, you know. And I really love those movies. Which also, Skyfall is my personal favorite Bond movie. I absolutely love Skyfall. I thought it was a great movie. I love the scene at the end too, going into his like how the house, the ranch, and stuff. And then old Bond game. I'll give another shout out to, besides GoldenEye, because that's kind of like you guys said, kind of a classic nostalgia. So I don't want to just automatically go to that.
Yeah,
I'll say Quantum of Solace, just because I had so much fun with that multiplayer. For a good like month or 2 months, whatever it was, I played quite a bit of it, and it was very Call of Duty-ish, but it felt different enough that it gave me like some different fun with like gadgets and stuff like that, and kind of like a Call of Duty world, you know. So it was fun, man.
Great picks, and that's good because I see like in our age category too, it can be very different. Me and Perry probably being the oldest two guys, I'm sure, on this panel. So it's like I said, it's where you grew up, it's your memories right entrenched in here, but then it's also being accepting of the fact, things change and sometimes our opinions even change too, right? So Fzah, how about you, man? Again, favorite Bond actor, favorite Bond movie, and your favorite Bond video game. I know it's a tough, loaded question.
My favorite actor is Pierce Brosnan, just because, like you said, like it's so hard to go against it because like that's when I was growing up. And GoldenEye, like the movie GoldenEye was so good. Like I watched it so many times. I got to go with Pierce Brosnan and GoldenEye just because it's like, for me, that was like a big thing. I know it's like the cliche answer, but and then as far as the games, I spent so much time playing Nightfire and Agent Under Fire. I played multiplayer with my friends. I remember at one of my birthday parties, we were playing it for like hours. I played the single player. Like those games are just the best to me. I love those games. I wish they would like remaster them or something because they're so good.
Great picks. All right, how about yourself, Perry?
For me, it's just like Frank, Pierce Brosnan and GoldenEye. Those are my favorites. I did like The World Is Not Enough, though. I thought that was pretty decent. That was the third Pierce Brosnan film.
Yeah.
I thought that was all right. That game is also not bad either. The World Is Not Enough. My favorite game besides GoldenEye, the 360 version, by the way, would be. Oh man, I just had it. Bloodstone with Daniel Craig. That game came out on 360 and PC, and that game was awesome.
Yes, that's fantastic. Another great one. Great picks from the panel here this morning. I love it. I'll keep mine short and sweet. Yes, growing up, obviously, I came up through the Roger Moore era. So he was the first identifiable Bond to me. Like a lot of people, the old guys will go back and pick Sean Connery every single time. Which, yes, Sean Connery was a certain magic about that. Unfortunately, like I said, his movies came out in an era when the movies themselves, I think, could have benefited from more of the new age technology and stuff like that. But I'm going to say my favorite Bond, oddly enough, is the one that I couldn't stand when they cast him, and that is Daniel Craig. When they did the casting of Craig, I was vehemently on the fence. I said, man, like, you know, compared to you look at Roger Moore, then you look at Dalton, and you look at Pierce Brosnan. It's like, man, this guy's a blondish kind of dude. He's not the biggest guy, but you know, there was something about his presence and the way he pulled off the character, where he had this. Like as one person said, he was one of the most believable Bonds from a tough guy standpoint. Like some of the Bonds, you look at them today and you go, yeah, who would you think would win in a fight? And you look at some of those guys, and you're like, you know, you're not really buying them. But like something about Daniel Craig strikes me as like, yeah, he looks like a guy who could throw a fist and would probably kick somebody's ass. You know what I mean? So I really liked the movies. I thought they were fantastic. Casino Royale was just incredible. I mean, how can you not love Mads Mikkelsen too as Le Chiffre? Love Judi Dench, obviously, is playing M. She had this fantastic, quiet confidence and stuff. Like those movies are just really, really well done. Just like the way everything was, and I think they've all been pretty good Bond movies. So I'm going to say Craig is my favorite Bond overall, and it's tight because it was a close second with Pierce Brosnan. I love the Brosnan movies. My favorite movie was Skyfall. So I'm back with Mav on that one. I love Skyfall. I love the soundtrack, that sort of thing. And favorite game? I mean, most iconic game is obviously GoldenEye, but the game that I loved the most, I think, was the last one that came out of GameCube. The Pierce Brosnan was All or Nothing. Is that the one?
Everything or Nothing.
Everything or Nothing.
Yeah,
Yes, I love that third because all the games prior to that point were notoriously, most of them were like first person, like Agent Under Fire, Night and Fire, Quantum of Solace, and then we had this game coming out. And, you know, you got to see Pierce Brosnan. He actually did the voice, I do believe, actually in game for the character. And you know, the great driving scenes. It was just a game that I remember enjoying the absolute crap out of. And I think I was playing my game on the GameCube at the time. But, man, I was having a blast playing that game. So that's my selection right there. All right, we got Talos. He says Roger Moore growing up, right? Lord Metros is on 47. McConaughey is the man. So a lot of great picks in the chat, and nobody's wrong. Like again, it's just opinions. I think overall, most of the Bond movies have been very enjoyable. You know, they've had some iconic scenery. And that's the thing, right? With Bond movies, it's kind of they follow the cool formula, and even the games, right? I mean, a great character, great women, and usually a fantastic villain. And lots of cool gadgets, too. So how can a dude, especially as dudes, how can you not love Bond, right? He's got the money. He's got the swagger. He's tough. He's got gadgets. He gets the hot women. You get to drive some of the coolest cars in the world. You got to do some crazy stuff, you know? And so how do you not love that? He gets to drink, you know, his martinis. Shaken not stirred. You know?
The cool thing with Bond movies, too, Noof, is like the different eras of the different Bonds that we got. All the movies themselves were kind of like templates for the action movies of that era. Like if you look at GoldenEye and you know those movies, then you look at other action movies that came out maybe around the same time, like maybe like True Lies and stuff like that. You know, they all kind of have this like comedy / like vibe to them as well, where it's a little bit more they try and over dramatize things a little bit. You have Daniel Craig era where you know you had going like Bourne was started to get really popular and all those other kind of things kind of around that same time. And it's like a little bit more serious tone to the Daniel Craig movies. Then you have like the 80s, you know, you have like Roger Moore and those movies. Honestly, those like Roger Moore is a fun Bond, but those are like some of the most cheesiest Bond movies at the time, which like, and yeah, they're very campy. Like at that time, there's a lot of action movies like that. You know what I mean? So each of that eras of the different Bonds kind of like are capsules for what movies were also like in general at that time. So it's cool when you pick your favorite, you're kind of picking your favorite style movie in a way as well. You know what I mean? Like it's, very different across the board, even though it's all the same franchise. Different.
Yeah, a lot of similarities throughout all the movies and even the games, but yet very different. Like you said, almost like a time capsule. Like these things encapsulate the time period that they're in, and they all have sort of strengths and weaknesses. And But they have always some similarities. Like the character itself largely hasn't really changed a ton. I think you have to stay true to the essence of who James Bond is. It's not like all of a sudden they took him out of his tux and they started putting him in like khaki pants and sunflower shirts and shit like that. So thank God they haven't tried to modernize Bond, as they freaking say these days. That freaking term, to modernize Bond, because if it was, he probably would have cauliflower hair and he'd probably shoot a water gun. So yeah, thank God. But no, a lot of great stuff. And one thing with Bond movies, they always have that traditional, the movie always starts with the big action sequence, whereas a lot of other movies kind of work into it. And they always usually start with the big one, and then it cuts right into the title and then your Bond theme song. And that's always been a cool trend too, right? Is seeing, those cool graphics they do when they start out, when the theme song is playing, you get all these, and it's sort of almost, if you watch the graphics, they kind of show you parts of what's really happening throughout the movie, which was really cool. All right, we got another super chat coming in. Fzah, you're up on deck, brother. Read this one out. Comes in from, oh no, it's one of these, $5.
My best Bond from best to worst: Craig, Lazenby, Connery, Brosnan, Dalton, Moore.
There you go. Wow,
solid list.
A lot of people.
Lazenby.
Yeah, he's George
Lazenby.
He was the first guy on Her Majesty's Secret Service before what's his name, Connery.
Before Sean Connery. Okay.
Yeah, that was almost like he only had the one role. He did the very first Bond movie, and then it was Connery. Connery was probably regarded as one of the most successful, I think, overall.
Mm-hmm. He probably cemented it as like an iconic figure.
I think so.
Role,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I think you're absolutely right. He definitely kind of cemented that role for a long time, and it was a bit of a gap. Well, I guess there was always movies kind of always came out a few years within each other. And Pierce Brosnan did like what, 4? Was it 4 movies?
I think there was four, right? 3 or
4. Tomorrow Never Dies, GoldenEye, World Is Not Enough.
3, if not 4, definitely 3.
There
definitely
was 4 of them. You're right. Because he wasn't going to come back for the Halle Berry one, but then they convinced him and he came back. And you know what? That movie was pretty badass too, actually.
Oh, yes. Die Another Day.
Die Another Day.
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
Yes, Madonna's theme song. Yes, I would die another day. Speaking of that, who had one of the coolest theme songs? Because some of the
you know what's funny about that?
And some were
what's funny about the Madonna thing? Yeah. She actually looks like the villain from that movie right now.
Oh my God, yeah, it's like Clayface.
I don't know what happened.
I gotta say, I like the theme song, and I think it was for I think it was called "You Know My Name," and it was the one with Chris Cornell. That was a cool one. That was for I think it was Quantum of Solace. You know my name. Anyway. All right. Let's move on to another topic. Like I said, it's going to be a long show, guys, today. So grab your coffee, sit down. If the panel can't stay for the whole deal, that's okay. But sit down, grab your coffees, and buckle up, because I said this show is probably already borderline gaming after dark territory this morning, and I'm trying to keep it as PG as I can, but I'm a little bit fired up. I got a couple of cups of coffee in already. Let's talk about real quick Forza Horizon. Still rolling, doing fantastically great, guys. Who's been playing? Honest to God, I'm so happy that this game is kicking some serious butt right now. I've never seen on my Xbox as many friends as I have playing Forza Horizon ever. This is the most played racing game I've ever seen anybody play on my friends list. Like, I'm going down through, and I was like, man, is this Call of Duty all of a sudden? Because more people have been playing this than they played Black Ops 7. I actually didn't see many people on my friends that playing Black Ops 7. But this game has been popular, and it's been amazing. And it was such fun last week, other than some of those weird disconnects and the crap that we had going on still. It was a great game when we did community game night. Man, we had so much fun with that. Just so much to do, guys. How you still feeling about Forza Horizon 6 at this point? How do these guys even top this? Anybody, take the floor. Fzah, you look like you're ready to jump in there. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, go ahead, Fzah. Oh, it's fine. I'll go. All right. Like Forza, like I'm a super big time Forza fan. Always have been since the original Motorsport. Then going into Horizon, it's definitely taken over as the premier Forza franchise by far. And I think with 5, they had captured something and become this more mainstream thing than they ever had been before. So for me, it was really interesting going into 6 because they had risen to another level, right? It's not just Xbox players. You have a lot of PC players. You have a lot of people that are like super into Forza Horizon now. But with the extra attention, right, becomes extra expectations now, right? So it's always reviewed really well before. It's always done really well, and it kind of done each release. But this one was like, okay, a lot of pressure on them. Not only on that, but they finally went to the locale that everybody's been requesting for so long, right? With Japan. So you add that element to it, and okay, you have a game that was praised as being maybe the racing game of the generation earlier this gen, now to have to exceed the expectations and actually come out with another release. Was it 5 years later now? And do it again. But now you are in a locale that you can't screw up. You can't screw this up. They absolutely nailed it as far as like Japan is absolutely amazing. Like to race in it, like it's extremely gorgeous. Everywhere you go, I want to stop and just go into the photo mode. They amped the level of detail and the graphics up another notch to add this level of photorealism that really wasn't quite as there yet. Forza Horizon 5 looked amazing, but not like this, And I've been playing on PC on my ultra wide screen, and it's super well optimized. Everybody's having a good optimized experience no matter really what device they're playing on as well. So to come out, exceed expectations by amping up the graphics, having probably the best world they've ever built to play in. But also for each of the race types and everything, they added like the perfect kind of track, like even the courses. I think that with the some of them are painted by flags or smoke or whatever they're using. The layout of the tracks and the road and the terrain, it just feels all better organized and more fun to race in than any previous Horizon game. The handling feels better. They just nailed it like on every front, and I haven't seen a racing game made by a Western developer, right, do this well as far as content. Like, I don't know if you guys just see, but like, I don't know if it's just because of my algorithm or what, but I'm seeing just like a gameplay. I'm seeing screenshots. I'm seeing everybody just posting Forza stuff constantly. There was this, I don't know if it's Japanese or Korean or whatever, because I don't know enough to identify what the symbols are or whatever, but there was some anime VTuber girl at like 3 a.m. or whatever. Me and my wife were chilling in bed and we're just looking through YouTube, and it was like one of those like VTube anime girls or whatever streaming on YouTube playing Forza Horizon 6, had like 30,000 viewers,
Wow.
Watching live. And Burnt Peanut was live at the same time, and she was actually had more viewers watching her play Forza Horizon 6 than Burnt Peanut did playing First Light, So it was like, man, this is pretty crazy, the phenomenon that it's taken on, and it's becoming more popular over there in the East as well, probably because of the location being in Japan. But I've seen a lot of videos of drifting, and all this kind of stuff. So it's just elevated to another level beyond what they did with 5. This takes me to a very important point when I've had this gripe with labels put onto different genres as being niche, right? People say it with fighting games. People say it with racing games. People say it with different things. And it's like, really no genre is really that niche. If you put the investment and the effort into making something truly amazing, then you can go into this other level of mainstream. And racing games got put into that box for a while, right? It got, and EA is probably a culprit. How much are we going to put into this? It's the next Need for Speed, because we're not going to really reach that many players or whatever anyway. So we're expecting this many sales. Forza Horizon proved all that stuff wrong, right? If you go big, you put the investment, you put the effort and quality behind everything, you will reach a massive audience. And I think that goes for any kind of genre out there, really.
I actually think you're right on that, to be honest. And I know I'd probably call them niche, but you know what? Now that you've mentioned that, and you're absolutely right. And I actually think, you know what, part of the problem with racing games has been, it's much like a lot of shooting games. So what separates Call of Duty from every other shooter, even though they're all shooters, right? Is that Call of Duty has for a long time been one of the most accessible shooters. So you can pick up a Black Ops game, you can pick up a Modern Warfare game, you can pick up various versions of Call of Duty, and within 5 minutes you feel like you're home. Like it feels very similar. I think that's the thing with Forza Horizon that separates it apart. Is unlike Gran Turismo or even Forza Motorsport, which have been a hardcore more on the sim side, where the investments take a lot longer. Like you're on a single tracks. You get like basically the crappy ass cars to start with, and you got to tune them, and you got to work your way up. Like basically, the good stuff doesn't come until you invested a lot of time in it. But I feel like Forza Horizon kicks off with the good stuff right from the start, and it doesn't punish people for like not knowing a lot about cars or how to tune properly, because basically you can win or buy or even do the auto tune and have a competitive car right out of the gate. You know what I mean? Like you're not kind of stuck like, oh man, I got to drive this Mazda Miata for the next 10 hours. Come on, dude, you know? So I think you're absolutely right. I think a lot of it just comes down to love, detail, and attention, and making your game more accessible to the average person that wants to play. Because who doesn't love cars? I mean, almost everybody. I mean, as kids, especially boys, we love cars and motorcycles. We probably always have. And you always had a collection of Hot Wheels growing up, and you're always staring at really cool cars out in the parking lots and stuff, you know? So I think you're absolutely right, man. I think it's all about it's finding the way to hit the right nerves, and then being a big enough title where like Forza Horizon sort of transcended just racing games. I mean, because back in like, if you go back to the 360 era, we had a lot of amazing racing games that people played all the time. But I think the market became oversaturated at one point too, where it was like trying to differentiate a great racer from an average racer was tough. And I think that's where remember like we had the Burnout series. And then you had, of course, your sim racers, and there was a bunch of those. But then there was like everybody was making them, and then you had a lot of stuff from Codemasters, and you got all the rally games, and you got the F1 games, and you got the bike games, and you had like so many of them. And people, I think that's part of the reason. I think things kind of got lost. But you know, the best thing about Forza Horizon, it's super ass fun, and there's so much to do. Barn finds, those. I like that new Trailblazer thing, where you're racing on the mountains, cutting out trees and stuff. Anyway, anybody else just come in and just give your final thoughts on just, how popular Forza Horizon 6 is? And they do have motorcycles in the game. You're just not rideable, which kind of sucks. You're just driving by those like Kawasaki Ninjas on the side of the road, and you're like, oh, man.
I want a little scooter to drive around. They got to add that. But I played a little bit by myself, like when it first launched, and then I played with you guys. And I'm not like the biggest Forza guy. I like kart racers, like arcadey stuff, like Cruise and Blast and stuff, stupid stuff like that. But there's one thing about Forza that's hilarious that I love. You can download the user created skins for the cars. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna put Kirby on my car. Like I have more fun messing around with that and then driving around with like stupid things on. Like somebody put the FedEx logo all over a Lamborghini.
Oh my God.
I'm driving a
you know what I saw the other day, which was so funny? Somebody posted, this girl on social media, she posted, she pulled up next to a van. The van was blue, and it was called Bonnie Blue's Bang Bus.
Oh, no.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
I'm not downloading that.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys know who Bonnie Blue is, but if you know the story behind it, it's even funnier. It's like, the Bang Bus by Bonnie Blue. It's hilarious. Oh my God.
Yeah, the stuff people put is fun. And there, like you said, there's a lot of community stuff to it. So it's cool. Like, I like the last one. This one's pretty good. I'd hope they could fix some of the connection issues, but besides that, I mean, it's a good game.
It's a very good game. Like I said, whether you're a racing expert or you're kind of average. Perry, any final thoughts just on the success of Forza Horizon 6?
I'm glad it's doing great. I got to play a little bit of it, but we were going to play online, but I need to finish a tutorial. Yeah. So I was like, oh, well, I guess I'm not playing tonight with you guys.
Perry comes in, he's ready to go, and he's got to get to the tutorial, and you can just hear the curse in the background. It's like, I already know how to play these games.
The tutorial froze on me. Like, the whole console locked up, and I was like, come on, man. I guess I'm not playing tonight then.
Yeah. Well, we'll get you on the next one. Don't worry. It's going to be a regular rotation game up until Forza Horizon 7 comes out. How do you top it, right? look, it's hard to top something that's this good. And I guess my last question for you guys is: should this game finally get a nomination for Game of the Year? Why or why not? Some people don't think it should. I don't understand why it isn't. Maybe you want to chime in on that.
Yeah,
it's a game and it's fun, right?
Yeah,
Is that what gaming's about?
I don't know why people put things into categories saying that they shouldn't be considered for awards just because they're in certain genres, right? Like, I don't know why that's a thing, but if you're one of the most popular games of the year and you're highly reviewed as well as highly loved by the gamers that are playing it, and there's enough of them out there that are all kind of in agreement that this is maybe the best racing game that we've gotten. And since Forza Horizon 5, but even before that, you go back into, probably the old school, like PS2, PS1 era of games where, racing games were kind of more at their peak back then. You had Ridge Racer taking off. You had the original Gran Turismo games that just had taken off. And then Forza Motorsport came out and original Xbox and kind of did that. And that was kind of like this era where like racing games had kind of like become at their peak, but then they fell off after Need for Speed Underground 2, Need for Speed took a dip. You had Rockstar stopped making racing games after Midnight Club LA, so some of the biggest best racing games out there just kind of all disappeared. Need for Speed Unbound was pretty good, but it's still not anything like what Horizon is. Ubisoft tries with Motorfest, but it feels more like a wannabe Horizon game, you know what I mean, as opposed to the original of actually Horizon. So I think it's just showing that this genre can be respected as a mainstream genre, just like any others. So if you have a RPG that's one of the best games of the year, should be nominated. If you have a Souls-like game, should be nominated. If you have a racing game, why not? It's rare where you actually have a game like this review that well. That you could say casual market, mainstream, racing arcade / sim or open world game. It's like they just did everything right. And you were talking about accessibility earlier, Noof. Approaching all these different kinds of gamers and stuff. Yeah, the accessibility is amazingly there, but it doesn't mean anything unless you actually have the depth to go along with it that the actual racing game community is looking for as well, right? That's what gets the streamers, the content creators, the diehards that are making videos of their racing wheel setups, driving around, recording everything they're doing because this is all they do is play racing games. If you get their respect as well, which is harder to earn, then you've achieved something, and they've done that with this game. So it's not only just the everyday guys that really don't play that many racing games, just like, hey, this is fun to hop in. It's the diehard racing enthusiasts that are also loving the game. And if you find a way to appeal to both audiences in any kind of game or genre, then you deserve definitely a round of applause there. The trouble is this year is just absolutely insane. This is probably 2026 is probably the peak of this gen, right? We had Pragmata hit, which did really well. You had Resident Evil Requiem come out, which did really well. Then you have First Light come out, which did really well. Forza Horizon 6, which did honestly probably better than any of them review wise, but barely, right? And then now you still got stuff coming out later this year. You got Wolverine coming out. You have GTA 6. You have Gears Ide. There's a lot of games that are third party that are probably going to get announced for later this year, and this is going to be the toughest selection for the actual Game of the Year nominees probably that there's been this entire generation, but it does deserve a nod in there. It definitely does. I don't think having separate categories for different things means that, hey, it's cool. They'll just get the racing game. Like, who's their competition in that? That's just a give me. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean anything. Right. It's like last year was the best fighting game of the year. Is like there was like one fighting game that probably released last year. Is even worth a crap.
And
so
you can't. And people can't say like, oh well, it's a racing game and nobody plays it, because the numbers lie in that case. Because if you look at the amount of people playing it, they're quite high, and I can guarantee you, there's more people on any given day playing Forza Horizon 6 than they're playing a Dark Souls game.
Oh yeah,
so they can't give me shit about numbers. Like, it's obviously people want to play this. It's
to your point there too. Like, people used to say Souls games were niche until Elden Ring. You know what I mean? So it's like, there's nobody says that an action adventure game that has its own category as well, because there's an action adventure category. There's also like an RPG category. All these games, and those are always what get nominated for Game of the Year. And there's also an indie category, right? And there's always an indie darling in there. Maybe this year it's Mina the Hollower, which is also extremely well reviewed. Maybe it gets a nod or whatever. But all of those also have their own categories. So just because there's a racing game category doesn't mean that it should be excluded from being able to win Game of the Year at all.
Amen. Yeah. Perry, Fzah, any takes on that? Do you think it should at least be considered?
I mean, there is a category, but it is what it is. I don't know. It's Keeley. I mean, this guy's going to do whatever he wants at this point.
He changes the rules like he changes his underwear.
Yeah.
So maybe that's not very often, but I don't know.
If they make Kojima DLC for Forza, then I think that'll win Game of the Year, right? According to him. So
yeah. Well, interesting with Forza Horizon 5, Stray was nominated for Game of the Year over Forza Horizon 5. Right? Now, I'm not saying Stray is a bad game, but I mean, in Forza Horizon 5, I don't like IGN, right? But they are the biggest gaming media outlet out there. They awarded Forza Horizon 5 as their Game of the Year. And for the biggest gaming media outlet to have their Game of the Year be a game that's not even in the nomination at the Game Awards for Game of the Year is very peculiar to me, because it's supposed to be voted on by the journalists. And you would think there's, they weren't the only ones. There was a few different publications that nominated it for Game of the Year. So I think there was something there with Keeley saying, well, they didn't nominate it. Well, hey, that's
you guys.
They did it on their own publications, but they didn't do it for your, like, really?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
Do you guys think Mixtape ends up getting a Game of the Year nomination?
No.
I ain't gonna play it.
I think it could have if it wasn't for this year. Yeah. I think this year's too stacked.
Okay.
I mean, Resident Evil so far has to. I just based on the amount of people that bought the game, there's no way that has to win. But something could knock it out in later in the year, because that was the first month of the year, but second month.
Indeed. I think the bottom line is, for when it comes to that category, it is Game of the Year. It is not. It's not a category of the year. I mean, yes, there's a racing Game of the Year, but most of the Game of the Years, if you've noticed, have been in multiple categories. I mean, heck, look at that Claire Obscure. I think that was nominated in practically every damn category last year, it seemed like. And that got Game of the Year. And I got no issue with the Game of the Year, whatever. I didn't play enough of the game to give you my take one way or the other. But again, if it's Game of the Year, it shouldn't really matter what the content. It should matter about how good the game is and how much everybody loves it. That's what matters. And speaking of things that matter, somebody is in the chat right now whose opinions matter, at least to me, because I've loved this guy for years and years and years. I've always respected and admired him, and here he is, the one, the only guys, American TimDog.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
What's up, Tim?
You're good, Tim. You made it a little earlier than I expected.
Yeah, no, I was trying to make it because I know that you just, I don't want to keep you 3 hours or whatever. So I figured I got everything done. I went to church and then I got bagels from my mom. So everything's done. I got about an hour here. So how are you guys doing?
Doing good, man. We were going to stay on to 3 hours. We were going to keep filling this show with dog shit if we had to make sure that you got it.
So I guess what you guys are talking about the obvious.
We haven't got into it. We just kind of finished talking. We talked about James Bond 007 and the reaction it's been getting. And we just wanted to touch about, how people were still feeling about Forza Horizon 6 and how, it's coming off a monumental run and whether it should be considered as a Game of the Year candidate. I think we're pretty much wrapped it up right now. And then we're going to start talking about our obviously our Xbox showcase predictions. And of course, about the latest rake step, the whole logo conundrum kind of deal. So we had some thoughts before we started the show, so now I'm gonna finally get right into it. I know this is the putter right here right now, so let's dive into it. Where do you guys want to start? Do you want to talk about the I mean, we were a couple weeks ago, we're all talking about how amazing things were starting to go for Xbox and how the vibe had changed, and as quickly as that, the vibe's kind of already taken its first road bump and heading downhill, followed up by again another controller announcement, which seems to follow right after some bad news. Hey, let's distract these guys. Let's toss some more damn controllers out, different colors. One's called the sucker controller, and
remember Feel the Burn after the layoff?
Damn.
Oh, yeah, I
It was
remember
messed
that. Yeah.
All right. Anybody can take the floor on this one. How do you feel about this right now? Is this just a bump, or is this just again now to show that maybe nothing really is going to change? You got a new face, and Phil doesn't have to take the raft anymore, and doesn't have Perry making 5,000 memes. But
I made a couple tweets about it. Like, overall, she has this traction. The rebrand, return to Xbox, we are Xbox, all this kind of stuff. I think the energy just of that having that podcast in general was kind of like PTSD for a lot of people for 2024 and 2025 of like messaging and marketing during the Phil era, because you had this like stage set up for 12 minutes to, let's talk a little bit about Call of Duty, let's talk a little bit about Forza. Oh, okay, now let's get rid of the landmines before the showcase next week. Right. So it was kind of like, why are we doing this, first off? And I understand the intention was to make it not the conversation probably next on Sunday when the showcase is, right? But the weird thing was about it was a response afterwards from Asha saying, we're going to look at this, like I own it. We missed on this. I own it, regarding the logos. And it's like, okay, well, so you knew it was a controversial hot button thing already. That's the whole reason you had this 12-minute thing. Otherwise, it didn't need to exist, right? So you have that, and you have the last bit be like, oh yeah, and as far as the logos things, we're doing it the same way, and we think it works really well, and that's the way it's going to be. We think it's really good. And then Tina Meany's like, okay, on that note, bye everybody. 6 hours later, Asha Sharma's like, we missed on this. I own it, right? It's like, why put out a landmine that is going to be a landmine and then come out later and then say that you are... I almost act surprised that the response, because they did it purposefully. So that was the weird thing for me. Maybe they didn't expect the level that it went to, right? I think either way, whatever you're doing, you just got to own it. Or if you are going to have this, Matt's messaging should have been completely different than what it was, right? So I think there's just the whole thing was just weird. Definitely weird mixed messaging marketing from that perspective towards the brand. It kind of contrasted with everything that they've been doing for the last few months. And it kind of felt like, oh, we're all on this energy train. We're all rebuilding the community. We're all on this kind of hype thing. You got the player voice thing. You see what the number one thing is on there. And then, oh, hey, everybody, we know this is an issue, but we're going to talk about it and then say that we're aware of it after. It's just kind of weird energy there. Now, I think also just from a business perspective, regardless of what games are going multi-platform or not, I think it's just stupid business sense to have a massive public showcase that's representing your own brand, your own platform, your own storefront, showcasing your games, as well as third-party platform partners that are going to be at your showcase, and show you can buy these things somewhere else, right? The energy should be to drive people into your storefront, regardless if the products are available at other places. I made a post just kind of like, imagine Target having a commercial that had like paper towels or like something stupid there. And they're like, at the end, you can also buy these at Walmart. It just doesn't make any sense. Like from a business perspective, you want to attract people to your store first. and that shows the competitive spirit, that energy that they seem like they were trying to work towards. Again, on her mission statement thing that they put out, it said core before more was one of the core principles, right? And this this flies in the face of the whole core before more philosophy there. So I think it's a miss. I don't think it's the ultimate biggest thing in the world. But however, it was a moment that's like, this doesn't make sense. Why put a landmine out there that you know is a landmine, and then immediately after say that we're aware it's a landmine and we're going to work on it?
Yeah,
you know,
we're aware it's a landmine.
Own it one way or the other. You know, yeah. We put this out there, knowing you aren't going to like it, and now we're acknowledging the fact that you didn't like it.
I'm going to let everybody
change it. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm going to let everybody see tons on this matter. I'm certainly going to get our TimDog guests to come in right away. I'm just going to, before I chime in like later on, I just want to say I've done this before. I always say benefit of the doubt. I'm gonna give the whole new look of Xbox at least 1 year. Okay, like the showcase itself, I'm just there for great games. If there's lots of great games announced, I'm a happy camper regardless of what logo is up on the screen. But I agree with exactly what Mab said. It's like, you know, core before more, and you're kind of spitting in the face of exactly the messaging that you were trying to go with. And I don't believe in rewarding the PlayStation community with your best efforts when it's the guys in this community, guys are on the screen that have helped get the brand where it is. What's the point of rebranding if you don't give us what everybody associates with the console warring thing, and sure, that is always part of it. But what people don't understand either is the console warring part, as silly as it may seem, is just this is also the most aggressive. Some of them, not in all cases. Some people console war for the sake of console warring, but most of the console warring is mistaken for just passion. It's just passionate fans that love the brand and just want their full money's worth for their investment, not in just 1 year, one console, but for, you know what, the 2 or 3 decades we've been with this brand. You know what I mean? It's like when you invest in it, and that's your first choice, you picked it because you felt it was the best place to play. Am I correct? That the console league, and not on top of the PC, the console ecosystem, you had the best exclusive games, because that's the reason we buy a console, for exclusive games, the stuff that separates it from Nintendo or Sony, essentially, right? Everybody remembers buying a Nintendo back in the day for Super Mario World. Everybody remembers buying an N64 for James Bond, and or Mario 64 or Zelda Ocarina of Time. Nobody ever remembers buying, at least in my category, nobody ever remembers buying a freaking Xbox for basically like Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Like that's the shit that the casuals might go out and buy one for, but the hardcore guys have generally always bought it for the self-explained exclusives. And I'm just going to say, like, I'm just going to say before I come back, I'll give her the benefit of the doubt that she's still new in this role. She still has a lot to learn about this company, about how they operate, what's going on. And we're all kind of behind her because we're hoping that this isn't, the Phil Spencer, Sarah Bond kind of thing, but we don't know. This makes you kind of wonder now, right? That's the whole point. It's got that question mark is lingering. So I'm just going to leave it. I'll give her till like next showcase. If it's not completely different, if it feels like it's more of the same, then yeah. But I'll leave it at that. Let's bring in TimDog. Tim, I know you want to lay this down, brother, and I don't want to keep your time all day. So that's where you
I don't care. I just I thought you guys made pretty good points. But listen, this is the way I look at it. One of the reasons why I was doing such a push for Gears was because I understand that they have things at play here that are difficult, very difficult. And one of the things that they have difficult is Gears and the developers. And yes, they have to compensate them. And yes, they did work for that on the PlayStation game. And yes, they probably wanted to turn out on PlayStation. Probably, from what I've read from a source, they had some bonuses tied in, and they're kind of, obviously if you worked on something, you would want it. But my take was this. Aaron showed this, he showed this diagram of the interest in Xbox, and it was like showing like before Asha when she came It was basically double. So they basically have gotten to the point where it was double of what it was when she took over. So that's a pretty sizable gap,
Mhm.
and it's exactly what I was talking about. Everyone seemed to be turning around, and it's a type of thing where, like, if you look at Sony and you look at 2012, they had that moment where they had the commercial, and then that just jettisoned them to it usually takes, and I've always said this, it takes like 6 months after to really start to resonate to the casuals. So I felt like they had this moment where they could have basically slammed it home, and the double the engagement that they had would now be maybe fourfold of that, like fourfold of where they are now. Because people, for whatever it is, what's new is old, and what's old is new. Sometimes I kind of felt like Xbox has finally got out of this negative realm, and they had something new, and they had something going for them. And one of the reasons why I was pressing them on this is because I understood the dynamic that this would come about. So I wanted, as somebody I'm 50 years old. I've been an Xbox fan from day one, 20, 25 years. I have 1,000 games on the platform. I'm not gonna stick around for what I saw on Thursday. What they did on Thursday was it was the same bullshit with 4 games. Asha knew about it. I saw the way Jeff phrased the question. It was all done framed that way to basically say, "Hey guys, we're going to show the PlayStation logos, and we're going to get ahead of it." Again, I always feel like Xbox is so worried about being reckless with like money and stuff like that, and like putting it like going full exclusive, like they view that as reckless. But what they're doing is reckless. That's my feeling on it. Like putting your games on another platform, catering to people like Red Dragon, who absolutely loathe the brand. He was an Xbox fan. I saw. The guy's like having a mental breakdown about them possibly still having Gears. Now he took a shot saying mentally unstable. I thought that was towards me, but listen, I'm not the guy that's making money off of this, and I need this. I know his situation. I know why he does. He's literally afraid that Xbox will do good. That's not healthy for me. What's healthy is basically I'm not gonna put money towards 2 onlines, two digital systems. I'm even giving Xbox the 2 digital ecos. I'm even giving Xbox the benefit of the doubt where I'll play GTA 6 even though it's better on Pro. I'll buy the games, but they have to make that commitment to us because we're in a situation where they need to cater to us finally, and they needed to signal it not now because they want to go to exclusives. They want to have their cake and eat it too. They want to release all of their games, including Gears. But the reason why, again, I made an onus on Gears is because it's a new announcement and she's new leadership. So you could, even though I don't agree with it, you could put Fable on it. You could put Halo, which, now those optics are going to be a lot worse. So where I felt like Xbox had this complete awesome momentum and they had to capitalize on it. They did the exact thing that they always do. They stepped on the rake. And it's an epic step on the rake. At this point, to be honest, I listen, they can reverse course and that would kind of save it, but they lost a big opportunity because they didn't need to have this mishap. All they had to do was omit all the logos, first of all. You don't need to kiss ass. And you didn't put a logo on Gears, and then the talk would start. And then, basically you could extrapolate from that a week out because they're not in a position where they're ahead of the game. They're way behind. So they need a shot in the dark. They need a grand slam in the ninth inning. They need a Hail Mary, and the Hail Mary I felt was basically playing to this thing where it's a new Xbox. It's a new thing. It's new leadership. They're bold, capital letters, Asha, capital letters. All this is great, but you don't have the substance behind it. So for me, I really feel they screwed up. And I know that Mav said it's not a big deal. In my opinion, it is a big deal because now you're going to have, it's going to be
It's
June
just in a
17th.
nutshell.
You know what's going to happen though is that now you're gonna compound Gears, compound Halo, compound Fable, compound Forza. That's basically your 4 games that represent exclusivity and your tent poles. So now they're all coming on PlayStation. You now eradicated everything that you've done in the last 2 months, and now you basically completely took the optics off of
Yeah.
Xbox onto PlayStation. And they get all the games, and they're suffering for games.
And let me just say that, a lot of us here are highly anticipating Project Helix, but you're also basically more or less said Helix is not going to be cheap. And how do you build an anticipation? And you're going to need a lot of hype to sell Project Helix. If you're coming in at
100%.
like $1,000 US, maybe more, certainly over $1,000 in Canada, guaranteed. Like,
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like, I know hardware is not the be all end all, but you still want to have a strong launch for Helix come out, no matter how you look at it. Like, Helix can't come out and be flat. It can't come out and sell like, okay, it sells well with the hardcore crowd right off the bat, and it's like, a handful of us buy it. You've got to, and this is not a great way to end the generation and build hype.
Well, the interesting thing about Helix for me is Helix is kind of like a interesting device because it was envisioned under Phil and Sarah with this whole transition, whereas Asha, the messaging that she's been giving is trying to transition back to the way things were before this whole thing started. So Helix makes a lot more sense in the world where they are more of just the multi-platform publisher and they aren't as reliant on having their own hardware sell well, because you're not going to sell a $1,000 plus device to 30, 40, 50 million people, really. So you're going to sell maybe 10, 15 in the first 5 years.
I wouldn't even say
probably.
that.
I mean, at most, right? Yeah. So I honestly think if they are really serious about the whole return to the core, return to console, return to all of this,
right,
I think Helix becomes kind of just a device that exists, kind of like the ROG Ally X that comes out, and for the enthusiasts that really want it, but they do end up potentially making something else that's more traditional because of the cost. As she said, she wants it to be affordable, right? And that. For console enthusiasts, Helix is not going to be affordable, right? So I wouldn't say Helix, the moves that they're making are going to be strategized around making Helix a top seller. I think that would be potentially for even 2 or 3 years after that, with whatever, if they are able to succeed and carry into this transition of Microsoft seeing that it's worth it for them to really keep going down the hardware path and rebuilding around the We Are Xbox, return to Xbox, return to the core mantra, then I think you're going to end up having to have other devices down the road besides Helix. So it'll be interesting to keep an eye on that. And I think also part of those things, if you look at Matt Booty and answering the questions, about how they're going to reveal Helix and they're not ready yet. There's, he's like, they want to get that right. I think they're still working on some things within how it's just going to work, within licensing, within backwards compatibility, because it's a PC. I think they're trying to get all that right before they can really push it super hardcore, because if they come out with an outside device and they don't have 100% clear explanation on how everything is going to work to the console user, it's going to be a very weird situation and launch around that. It's not going to grab the right energy. I would not envy being in her position right now.
No, listen, I think she's in a very, very, very tough position. I'll give her that. But what you talk about Helix, and you basically hit it on the nail in the head, If you do, let's just say they make 10 million. I think that's even high. I would say 5 million. I think it's more of a novelty item because of the price and also the fact that they can't secure RAM right now. And you're looking at 2028. They can maybe redesign X. But the point is that you're basically niching your store now. So now you're taking a revenue stream that you've had for like when people buy microtransactions on Fortnite or whatever the case, whatever GTA money, whatever the case may be. That's a huge portion of your eco, and instead you're saying, okay, well that eco, I'm going to just we're going to short that, and we're going to go to PlayStation. That's the problem. Like you have they're all over the place. The only way to fix this is to basically wall garden it. And they think that's probably reckless, but what they're doing is reckless. So they have major problems ahead of this. There is a possibility that she takes the logos off. I have because this is really bad. I saw Colin taking a shot. Listen, here's the thing about you mentioned console wars. There are a lot of people on the Sony guys that are scared shitless. And that should tell you everything. They are scared shitless. They know they don't have games. They know that Xbox in a way has a lot of things going for it. And they try to make it about global and be like Collins like saying that they listen. They did listen to guys like me. Yeah, getting 2030 studios. Maybe with Activision that was a mistake. But the whole thing was in 2018 was you guys need studios. You need to make games to have exclusives. And then you had Matt Booty of all people saying we can outspend them. And those same Sony guys, remember that there's a little bit of fear here. They know that Xbox could they were feeling what we felt. So now they're running their own PR campaign. You got a guy like Glassdoor Gamer. Like I saw the post. He's now taking my talking points. That guy's an avid hater of Xbox. Red Dragon. They dedicate their lives to hating this to Xbox. It's unhealthy, really, on their end. That's what they do. I wanted to be positive about it. And, they talk about like parasocial, like it really matters. No, this exclusives matter. It doesn't have anything to do with parasocial anything. Common sense is common sense. You can't sell hardware with on your other stuff on another platform. You basically give them all the cards. It doesn't make any sense. So in my opinion, I don't even think they're going to launch Helix. They have to make a move now. They are going to signal to exclusives. But my point is that I don't think you have that opportunity because you're going to release Halo. When Halo comes out on PlayStation, it's going to be an absolute shit show. They also have 3/4 of them being down. Okay, because they're not going to match out year over year because they had the influx and they had better hardware sales and they had whatever the case is. I think they're going to be down for the next 2-3 quarters. So you have, but I just think you have, just not to interrupt, but I think you have a ton of bad news coming down. They just can't take those hits anymore. That's my point. You have to take it and be like, okay, well, we're taking the hits up front because we're going full exclusive and we're wall guarded. We're going to deal with it. They got to look at Xbox like they looked at Xbox when they originally made Xbox. You have to do the opposite of what they've been doing the last 7 years, and that's upfront hits, upfront profits for long-term quagmires. Right now, they're in a major quagmire because of all the decisions that they made for those short-term benefits.
Interesting thing too, like real quick, is even despite she's navigating like a cruise ship as opposed to a canoe, right? So things are going to be harder to move as far as major things. You know what I mean? But even if you have such dramatic decisions on exclusivity, even if you know that you can't cut off Gears right now or Fable and Halo, all those things, like the landmine of just the logo thing is a very simple thing, right? And people say 100%.
That's what that pisses me off.
And people say that like, well, the transparency is important. Like for me, that's bullshit. That's the kumbaya energy. You need to have the competitive energy. You can't tell me that the Destiny and the Call of Duty marketing deals during the PS4 era didn't have a massive impact on how PlayStation did.
Remember
and
the
those games were
perfume?
multi-plat, right?
You guys remember the Destiny perfume? Do you guys remember that?
No.
Okay, so the Destiny perfume was basically Xbox making a play because they could not talk about Destiny.
Right.
They were locked out of even mentioning the platform. This is how Ironclad. This is how Sony plays it. So Xbox had a Destiny perfume. They were signaling towards the game because they realized that Sony took everything from them. And that's the thing. If Sony, in my opinion, if they just switch leaderships right now, you would actually see Sony do everything that we want and be competitive, and you'd actually start to see the movement that we want. And you'd start to see the failing on their end. They'd be like worried about PC. Sony gets it. It's listen, it's a dog eat dog world. There's no utopia where everyone's friends, we all game with friends. It doesn't work like that. Maybe in 20 years, 30 years, I don't know, when cloud is everything, but right now they are way ahead of they are pioneering something that's going to kill them and make it an inroad for the rest Sony. You know what I mean? Like they've always done this, and it's just like, for me, I'm actually happy. I'm like, I'm gonna sell all my Xbox stuff. I'm gonna make money off of it, and I'm just gonna be done with it. I'll have one online bill. I'll get all my games on PlayStation, and I'll be done because they just can't get out of their own way. And for me, it sucks because I love Xbox and I love the community. You guys are great, but I got to make a business decision for myself. You know what I mean? Like, it comes down to that. Why would I pay for 2 onlines and do all that when I don't like? Listen, I'm not a huge gamer like you guys, but I do game and I do like to game. But I'm not going to make a reckless decision for myself and my own finances. You know, I'm putting my kid through college. I'm almost done with that, but I'm done with handicapping them.
Yeah.
They have to handicap us. That's the way I feel, and that's why I feel like Mav said, the logo thing is just like, come on, guys. Like, what are you doing? Like, why would you you're going
the difference between me and you though, Tim, on that is like I get where you're coming from. You're sick of the stuff, but for me, it's like it doesn't really actually affect me. Like in the end of the day, like when I see it, okay, like I don't care. I just think it's stupid from a business.
But it's going to affect you because you're not going to have hardware. You might not have hardware for 3 years. That's my opinion.
We'll wait and see. Like, you know what I mean? If at the end the day comes where we don't have that, I'm not going to ditch it early to help that happen. I'm just going to keep playing what I'm enjoying, right? Because I enjoy the ecosystem right now.
That's fine. Lots of games coming out.
Game Pass.
It comes down to a personal decision. But the bottom line is, Mav, it doesn't look real good. I mean, if odds are, it's going to be a novelty item. It might launch, but if it doesn't launch, like you said, if they do have a console that's affordable, that's great. They could redesign the X and make it really cool. But again, you always come back to the thing is, where are your games? Are they on PlayStation? Yes. Okay, I'm getting a PlayStation. That's what everyone's going to say. That's what everyone says. When you talk to a casual, and I've done this, I just give them the scenario. I say, well, what do you think of like Halo? Be like, they all say the same thing. What do they say? You guys can tell me. Why would I ever get an Xbox if it can be on PlayStation?
Yeah.
Well, to put it in perspective, and look at these two things. Now, if Nintendo was tomorrow, Nintendo sales started to plummet. Nintendo just said, hey, we're going to put our flagship games on a competing platform. How is that going to work out? How's that going to look? How's it going to make people feel? You know, the last time we kind of went through anything that was closely related to this, because there hasn't been a whole lot of hardware manufacturers, right? But remember Sega? Sega was huge. Sega was huge. And Sega made fumble after fumble after fumble, just didn't want to recover. And then they got to the point where instead of trying to compete, they just gave up. And that's the difference. That's the difference. Like I said, look, everybody brings up the console sales. Look, none of us here are stupid enough to think that Xbox is somehow miraculously going to probably outsell a PlayStation. You know, across the world, PlayStation is a stronger brand.
No.
But that doesn't mean that Xbox cannot be neck and neck, that Xbox cannot be breathing down their neck like they used to be, like 360 era. And even the Xbox One got off to a a pretty good start up against the PS4 for the most part. This generation
Yeah.
really lost. This one really dropped the ball. Like, how the fuck is the world's, well, at the time, most powerful console, one of the best pieces of hardware out there, obviously getting obliterated by PS5. We go through the shortages and stuff, but what happened? This is the thing you had to look.
2022 happened. That's what
2022. COVID was like basically stepping into the shit box right off the bat. But that goes to all three manufacturers had that same thing, right? But then I talked to Perry. We talked about this extensively. I said the other thing is your Xbox One, the Series X, is your flagship of the two. The other one was the price point. I get that. But what did we see during the last couple of years was constant promotion of the Series S. And I felt this was a misstep because price alone will sell the console, but you should be gloating. You should be, really going all in on your flagship console itself, like the one that really pumps out the best visuals and the one that has the most advantages overall, because that's the stuff that we gravitate to.
Right.
But like, there's just so many missteps. Like I said, Nintendo had to put their flagship stuff because if it wasn't for exclusives, people hate that word, but if it wasn't for exclusives, Nintendo would be dead. Nintendo would be dead.
Who hates that
there's
word?
not one guy. There's not one guy in this whole room that has a Nintendo Switch that would say, "I would take my Nintendo Switch over an Xbox or a PlayStation if you put all the exclusives over there."
Exactly.
Right?
Listen,
but that's not necessarily better
what-
for me, to be honest. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like having to own the Switch, because I don't like the device. But I get what you're saying. Like, if Sega still existed, I'd think about the world that I'd be living in. I would have to buy 4 fucking consoles to play all the games plus PC.
Right.
Like,
but there's very few are like us, though. Let's be honest. We're in a bubble. Most people just buy one, and that's kind of the problem that I feel is because most casuals are just going to buy one. But I really feel like Xbox we talk about missteps, and that was the thing. Asha really didn't have any missteps, and this is the first misstep, and this is self-inflicted. So again, that's why I'm kind of down on it. It's just like it just didn't need to happen, and it's like the same thing. And I felt like the way they phrased the whole podcast. It's like I feel like you feel like I'm stupid. Like I hear the way you lead into the way you're leading the whole questioning, and you lead that was predetermined, that was talked behind, and that was discussed on a high level. Asha was there. And then she says she owns it, she missed it. Like that too was doubly. Like you should have left it alone. And then now you say that you made a mistake because they knew. That's the thing. They know everything that we're talking about, and they probably feel that way. And that's the problem, is because you have an overlord, Satya, where he's like, I just spent $100 billion. What are you talking about? I got to take more hits. And that's what happens, though. But even if you look towards how they got to this position, it was always trying to appease Satya on a short-term basis because he never really was behind. He doesn't understand it. He's never really been behind Xbox. And I think fundamentally that's your one of the issues, but your main issue is because, like, if Asha had her way, I really believe she would just do the full eco and say, F everyone, let's do this, spend a lot of money on marketing, because that's also another thing. This is my prime example of how Satya doesn't get it. He buys Activision, and then he doesn't market the same way Activision was marketing. He basically cuts marketing and says, okay, well, we'll just parasocial it and whatever. We'll put it on Game Pass and call it a day. It's like, no, that doesn't work. And even Call of Duty, they had their worst Call of Duty ever. So they're fucking up Call of Duty. He's talking about Metaverse. He's talking about Call of Duty Mobile, the Xbox mobile store. These things don't exist. That's my point, too, is like with the Helix, we've talked about it, sure, but their commitment means nothing. Because there might come a time where Satya just says, you know what, it's I don't want to deal with this anymore. I just, we'll take the hit. And to me, that's reckless because it's just they had the momentum. They still, listen, they could still salvage this. They just have to not show a couple of logos. That's all they have to do. But we know that they're not going to do that. I think that, that's another thing. They never
blow over after for a little while. If she like, even if they do have whatever, I think this will be a thing where they're going to have a lot of opportunity to grab that energy back after the case,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah.
So
Maybe, but I don't know why you wouldn't capitalize it when it's red hot.
100% I agree
You
with
know?
that's the really stupid thing, Tim. Like, I agree with you. It's just it's stupid from a business perspective, period. Even if you think it's the right thing to do or whatever, it's just dumb to not portray strength as a brand.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I think that they
And
could still do it too, though. I do think that she could still salvage this. So, I mean,
Yeah.
there's a little part of me that hopes for that, but we kind of know the answer. And listen, in the end, even if I do go away, it's just a personal decision. I really hope that they can get it right because I like you guys. I don't want you not to have. That's the main thing. I don't even game that much. I'm a 50-year-old guy. I go to baseball games. I go I go to the beach. I do things like with my wife. When I play video games, I get looks. Like that's just the situation I'm in. I'm just being honest. Like I'm not allowed to have an Xbox in the living room. Just happy life, happy wife. It's just the way it is. But my point is that I still hope that they can still right the ship, and I do think they're going to go to exclusives. But also with Helix, you might see Steam say no, you can't. I don't know if they could because it's on Windows, but they might be like, no, you can't have our store. Like that's what you're dealing with. Like they might, because they're going to be competing with them. So they're hitting a lot of situations. I guess I'm gonna live stream if they do. Not put the gears up. I would have been like off the wall happy if they hadn't had this mishap. But now I'd be like, okay, well, I'm going to be tortured a little bit more. You know what I mean? Because I just feel like, I do listen, with anything that I do, whether it's work, whether it's being a sports fan, I'm always very passionate about it. Like my job, what I do is very difficult. Everyone comes to me, you know what I mean? But that's just because that's the way I am. So, for me,
think of it. Look, and I love, and this is what I said, Tim. This is why I can't, this is why a lot of us in the community, myself, and certainly, and probably some of the guys here, have always respected you because we love the passion level, right? And no one can question that. I say it's like a sports team. There's some people that like a sports team. They love them so much that not only do they have all the merchandise, they got 5,000 jerseys, they got all the pictures, the autograph, you know what I mean? But they're also the type of people when their team loses, they actually sit down and cry. Now, is that fan that sits down and say cries when their team loses? It doesn't make them a worse fan than a fan that just shows up and watches one game a year and claims to be a fan. Is there anything worse? Like it's like. No, like a fan is a fan, a gamer is a gamer. We all have different levels of attachments. I think for us guys being as old as we are, and having it as an invested as long as we're not new to this. This is not our first Xbox console. We're not just discovering Halo today. We're not the kids that think Master Chief is a fucking Fortnite character. Okay, that's the difference. That's the difference, right? I understand, and this is the thing. We all understand that Satcha's chasing a different bag. He looks at the numbers. He wants to see the numbers, right? I think the frustrating is an Xbox fan itself, and you guys can probably attest to this. Look, Nintendo almost went tits up. Look at the Wii U, right? The Wii U was an abomination, right? The worst fiasco since the Virtual Boy. But they came back. You know why they came back? Because he said, frig the crap. We're just going to build what we want to build. It's going to be for our fans. And they're either going to love it or they're going to hate it. They took a gamble and they brought the best of all the worlds. They brought the motion controls and the stuff that people got attached to with the Wii. They brought the portability from the Nintendo handheld generation. They packed it into a little package that was home console, portable console, the Wii all wrapped into one. Brought out their flagship exclusives, and guess what? The writing is on the wall. Now they control their own destiny, and you know what? Nintendo marches to the beat of no one's drum but their own. And love them or hate them, find their flaws.
They're the pinnacle.
Right? Yeah. Exactly.
Well, Nintendo was actually the first ones to abandon the traditional console market. You know what I mean? Because they kept doing things, and they kept having, hey, well, the Wii was a huge hit. Then they couldn't figure out how to market the Wii U, because I think the Wii U was actually a really good device. Machine. It had full backwards compatibility. We had good games that they were working on, but they just didn't have enough out at launch and close to launch. And they just, I mean, when they revealed it, they showed the gamepad. They didn't show the system. You know what I mean? So like they were just horrible at even, and parents didn't even know when they were going to the store, like that it was not just the Wii, you know?
Right.
So it was very dumb way they handled it. But the smart thing they did was like, well, all of our handhelds have always been successful. So we're just going to abandon traditional console market. We're ditching all the backwards compatibility and everything we've done, and we're just making a handheld device. And guess what? For the console players, you'll be able to dock it. You know, I hate that personally.
You're totally right. But my whole point is they were willing to stake their entire company, their reputation.
Yeah.
Right.
Bingo.
This is the thing. They're willing to stake their entire reputation on it. Xbox is the big look. Xbox is the biggest company of these three. They have almost unlimited resources, and people are acting like, oh, it's over for. It ain't over till the fat lady fucking sings. It ain't round fucking 2, baby. We're going the long haul. If any company of the three has the power to change course, it's Xbox. You just got to have someone with Steve Ballmer-sized balls to say, you know what, we fucked up. But you know what? We're going to invest back in our core fans. We're going to invest back in our franchise. We didn't make these billion-dollar studio investments to basically hand the ship to the competition. We're here to fucking bury the fucking competition. We're here to raise the bar. So those motherfuckers at Sony actually got to do some fucking shit and get off their ass, because what has Sony fucking done for the last 3 years other than lick Microsoft's balls, essentially, because they haven't made a fucking game in like fucking practically forever. They're over there sitting there now going, oh, we had a strong 2018. We don't even show up for showcases. We stopped showing up for E3. But they show up when the numbers are good, don't they? They love to gloat about their 92 million sales. They love to gloat every time their game hits a 5 million sales mark. But guess what happens when the game goes shit? Like Saros. Oh, nobody's talking about Saros, now are they? Saros is more like a sorry ass game.
I know you saw a guy saying that it's not to interrupt, but I wanted to extrapolate off of you. You know, even mid-gen, if you look at PS3 gen, PS3 was as fucked as a little bit less fucked, but the Xbox, if you remember, PS3 was really in trouble, and they had overpriced. They had problems with the development kits because it was off the sell. And they had like a rebrand in the middle in 2009, I believe. They made it $399. They recommitted, and they righted the ship. Now, I don't think that the Xbox... I do think Xbox could right... You made a great point, though. If Xbox just throw... That's what I want them to do. Get all behind it. And that would require Satya to just say, listen, it's if they got this righted and they got back to where they were, let's just say a little bit above Xbox One, that would still be, they could even get better than that. But they're never, we agree they're never going to beat Sony because they're not global, but they sure can win in the United States. They sure can be real competitive in UK. And you never know, like Mexico and these other, I remember with PS4, the Spain, Germany, all these countries, they became big players. Like they never were big. So, Colombia or Mexico. So Xbox, in my opinion, they're not destitute, sure, but they do need that, like you said, bomber-sized ball move where you just got to basically go for broke. And, I don't right now, obviously, I think Asha wants to do that. But again, she's probably, he looks and he says, look at this. Look, I just spent
Phil Spencer did save the brand, but he saved it for what?
Correct. He's, but listen, let's hope, let's see what happens June 7th.
Let's give them the benefit of the doubt, right?
Listen, they're going to go exclusive. There's no way that they're not going exclusive. For me, I just want it now. Because I want them to hit on the red hot. I think that they're going to go through exclusives, which probably start up in 2027, and that's when you'll start to see the kick up. But I'm just like, why wouldn't you just wait? I mean, I would just do it now. Yeah, it would cost you one game. You'd probably have to compensate the devs to do the right thing, which they wouldn't. I know that they were the Gears devs. At least my source said that they asked, and they said no. Your pay structure stays the same. They basically asked them if it did go exclusive. So yeah, the devs, if that's right, they want to go on PlayStation because they developed for it, and that's part of the issue. But you could just fix that by just paying them, but they would never do that.
Sure.
Like, that's the thing. Like they would. That's what I think it comes down to. But Xbox is going to go exclusive in some sort. But if they do, a year from now, I really think they should go full exclusive. Like I think that they should really, if they're going to have Helix, funnel everything to that.
Again,
I will say the full exclusivity thing, like Elder Scrolls 6 would be that one game that is going to make a massive difference, but that's also going to be like one of the ones where it's going to be the hardest decision for them to make. It's going to be great. It's going to be interesting.
Well, that's what they said. There's going to have to be some hard decisions made. The question is, are the hard decisions going to piss off the Xbox fans, or the hard decisions going to piss off your PlayStation fans? It's kind of be one or the other. But as me personally, if you're running Xbox, you would want to make sure that your Xbox fans are happy first and your PlayStation fans happy second. Because, you know what I mean? Let me get to a super chat real quick because our good buddy D dropped $10 earlier on. He's a fast and late with Starbucks in hand. Thanks for being here, TimDog and panel. Not enough hours in the day. Now, I wanted to get Perry's opinion here. The boys have been kind of quiet. We haven't given them a whole lot of room to speak here, but I want to get Perry and Fzah. And Perry, I want to start with first. I want to get Perry's opinion on a lot of this, too, because I love and respect Perry's opinion for a lot of reasons. Not only is he a diehard Xbox fan who plays a shit ton of games, has spent like thousands upon thousands of dollars on Xbox stuff. Like, if anybody spent money on Xbox, that's the guy right there. But he's also a store owner. So he sees things on a multiple levels. He sees stuff as a fan. He sees stuff as an owner. He sees the trends walk through and out of his store. So I want to get his take on things. And Perry, one of the things you must be concerned about too is something that I've alluded to, and I think we've all alluded to, Fzah, you have as well. It's just, I understand the digital marketplace is heavy-handed now, right? But we've seen the pictures coming in from a bunch of people going into stores, and Xbox presence is just not there. And to me, it's about optics. Sometimes it isn't about, your game might be selling great digitally. That's fine. But it's about optics. It's about walking into the store. And I think now the optics more than ever are more important than ever because with the console prices of the next gen likely to be astronomically high, we've already seen this gen actually went up in price for the first time in the history of gaming. Prices are going up. How important is all this stuff now going to be to the average fan? Like walking into the store when they got to make that one decision, everything counts. And again, if you build the next generation of fans and they become PlayStation fans, guess what happens? Right? They stop spending money in the Xbox ecosystem, which I understand is why Xbox wants to play this carefully because they know that if we can't sell you an Xbox, we got to sell you a game on PlayStation. They get the money. We get it. But the bottom line is, wouldn't you want people in your storefronts because you're going to spend more money on Xbox-related things like a controller, like a subscription, like you name it, right, Perry? So I want you to elaborate on what you've seen, what your impression is. How important is all of this in the conundrum of things?
It's very important, and Tim is right. You got to strike while the iron's hot. They need to do something immediately because I have customers that were Xbox fans that have jumped out. And they have no interest anymore. They're like, Xbox doesn't care about me. I don't care about them. I have customers that are still on PlayStation 4 that will not buy a 5, but they also are looking at Xbox and they're like, well, I don't know if I should buy an Xbox because I don't like what they're doing. So, I mean, you have people that really haven't even moved to this generation yet. And, now they're eyeing the PS5 and it's like, nobody wants anything to do with Xbox. I have people coming in the store that tell me, oh, yeah, one guy traded in his whole Xbox collection a couple of months ago. I showed you guys.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I remember that. Crazy.
And I didn't ask him a thing, okay? And then towards the end, I told him how much or whatever. And he goes, I just bought a PS5 and I really don't need all this stuff anymore. He bought Flight Simulator on the Series X thinking it would work in his 1X. And he's like, ever since then, I was done. And I was like, all right, well. And that's a guy that's not on the internet. Like he's not like one of us or in the chat rooms or anything. That's a regular guy who just liked Xbox, bought other stuff. He doesn't know the difference between a 1X and a Series X. Everyone's laughing at him in the chat, probably saying, "Oh, what a dumbass." Says no, but that's a
you bring that up, Perry.
person.
since you're bringing that up, let me ask you this question then too. Is this also part of the brand marketing? Because PlayStation 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Now going to be 6. People automatically assume that the console is going to be better, more powerful, etc. Do you think a lot of this too, like, comes down to, say, the Wii U's part of its problem was its branding, was the name of the console? Is that also part of this factor in here, that Xbox has just messed up so badly with sort of its marketing, and if people don't understand or know what it is they're buying? Because again, we had the Xbox One X, then you had a Series X, a Series S. Like, to me, there's a lot of confusion for the average gamer. Maybe not the ones in the know, but the average person's just lost.
I've seen some customers, they have a Series S, and then they come in, oh, this works on the Series S. No, it works on the 1S. Oh, what's that? I have that already. And I was like, well, which one do you have? And I had to show them a picture, and they're like, well, I have that one. I was like, well, that disc won't go in there.
So, this is why we have Perry here to explain. This is what he sees in his store. Can you imagine the fucking confusion?
I'm on the ground. Like, I know what's going on. Like, people are coming in, and this is what they're telling you. This is not fanboy stuff. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. And this is a perception that Microsoft doesn't understand. They don't understand the average consumer. They understand people like us, like the hardcore gamers and stuff like that. But I think the biggest thing here, last year, Frank actually broke the news, and we sent the info to TimDog about how they took everything out of the catalogs. So when you walk into these places on Christmas, oh, there's no Xbox. I guess they don't make that anymore. It's not, oh, Xbox is dead. It's, I guess they don't make it anymore. They don't have it here. No one's promoting it. You have to fix all that stuff immediately, like now. You can't wait 2 years.
Didn't the toy box beat it? Didn't the toy box beat it, or whatever that thing was?
Yeah, that thing. I bought it for my wife. It has Tiny Chef on it or something. I forgot the hell. The Next Playground.
Yeah, Next Playground. That's it.
Yeah,
that thing's over $300 in Walmart right now. What the heck is this crap?
Well, those went up in price too.
They did. They go up. Yeah. But yeah. I mean, look, it is what it is, and they have to really. They have to pick a lane. Xbox has to pick a lane. They have to say, we're going to go either full bore with exclusive, or we're going to go third party and just go third party. Like, you know what I mean? Like, as fans, I'm kind of tired of this crap. They say things and then they step on a rake. They say things and they step on. It's like, I'm done, man. Like, what are you guys doing? Like, so, just make up your minds.
Yeah, like, just to bring up Supersonic, right in chat here, good friend Supersonic. And this is another guy. See, they lost this Supersonic. If you guys don't know him, right?
I know Supersonic.
Yeah, we know Supersonic. And this is another diehard Xbox fan, right? He used to be like super diehard on Xbox. I shit you not. And but he didn't like some of the decisions they were making, and he largely went over to PlayStation and doesn't really do much on Xbox at all now. Now, part of his gripe was with Xbox's refusal to commit to VR. That was part of it. That was just one part of the equation.
Yes.
He's a huge VR guy.
And they lied about it. That was Chris's. Chris Steele. That was his, because they said that when they revealed the One X, they said VR. And Supersonic, very passionate guy, very funny. Used to make. I remember the videos. Yeah, he got turned off. That turned off Chris very badly too. He's never recovered.
Yeah, to be fair for Xbox on that, I don't think that worked out great for PlayStation.
Right. Well, that's also on PlayStation, because have you seen how much effort PlayStation's put behind the VR? Fuck off.
Yeah, I've seen it, but nobody's buying it, and they kind of abandoned development of their own games for it. Right, so people buy
VR like they treated the Vita, like as an afterthought.
Yeah, I mean, it was.
If you treat anything like an afterthought, that's what you're going to get.
Well, I just think VR in general has metaverse.
It's very small market.
Yeah,
so that was my whole thing with it. They were having to dedicate resources to develop games for something that was not going to sell very much at all with the price. First, you got to have a PS5, then you got to buy the device, which was really expensive, and then you got to have developers make content for something that there's only maybe like 1 million of them out there. Yeah. It just didn't make sense. Why, I applaud them for attempting it, but it was just a big waste of money for them overall.
But back to his point though, he says he doesn't see Xbox in the stores. So the thing is, for Xbox, what did they spend the last 3 or 4 years trying to do? Is sell Game Pass. So how the hell do you sell Game Pass if you basically look like you don't exist in the store. Someone sees an Xbox controller, but they're thinking, what the hell do I do with this thing? Do you see the problem there?
I think that's such a like Perry, and I love Perry, and Perry was, to be honest, Perry's one. I remember we did a show. It was on this show, and Perry was visibly upset because he was like, "What's up with my library?" This is with the Phil era towards the end, and I remember feeling real bad because I felt like, wow, he got like somebody who's so dedicated, and the guy legitimately just wants to love Xbox, but he's like legitimately asking, like, what are they going to do with my games? And you could just tell he legitimately didn't know. And he asked me, what do you think? And I was like, I would think that they would do it, but you never know, because if they're not in the hardware business, that's when they stop answering the phone, the old adage. But even if they did like do this full bore, we're going exclusive, it's really bad with the store. I mean, that's why I'm saying that this is a multifaceted, big problems. They have to have a store presence. I mentioned this on my space. Remember the old days when they said this, that was a big gripe in Japan, because Japan would specifically put their Xbox in the back. And when you walked in the store, a lot of people were saying, well, they hate Americans, this and that, whatever. There was a lot of things that came out of it, but the store presence is a huge thing because, and Perry can probably attest to that, when you see that, that gets people talking. And then there's 5 people in that store. Then there's somebody who's lurking, listening to the conversation. And then they might say something about Xbox that like is really cool, and then that person now starts to think about it. When there's no presence, regardless, wherever they have to get a store presence going. And they would say, even if you had the digital cards, right? Don't they have the digital cards, Perry? How do they sell the games? Can you buy them digital codes?
If you go to Best Buy, they have digital cards. They really don't have the latest ones, but they still have, like, you can buy Red Dead Redemption 1, digital card, but some of the current games you can't buy because they don't have the digital cards yet. But you go to Best Buy, it's all sports games physically, like maybe 2 copies of each game. Like, it's abysmal. It's like it doesn't exist.
Do you think there'll be physical next generation? Because Sony is at 85%.
No,
I don't think.
So then, what? Honestly, listen. I know that you have the store. How would they be able to? Is visibility going to completely go away?
Here's what you have to do. I think you have to you got to buy a space in the store, like a shelf space, and you literally need to put up posters that look like game cases. Okay. So it can still look like there's a game, but there's no physical game, kind of like Nintendo does with these, like the key cards, right? But basically, the games still need to be there for the average consumer who walks into a physical store to actually see the product. Like, can you imagine if at my store, can you imagine me trying to sell hockey gear to someone if I didn't carry it in a sports store? I'm like, you want the latest hockey stick, right? But they don't see it, they can't touch it, so. You see how this works? They still need to see something. So you can say these are the latest games, and they have a little picture in the like it's a little cabinet, and there's maybe like one plastic display case. People by this time will start to know that it's only digital, but they still want to see an artwork and that there is an actual game that you can buy. And basically, what they do is they say, "I want this game here," and they take a code up to the till. Like, did you give them a code at the till for the game? Boom. So there's your digital sale. And your subscription card's right next to it. But it has to be visible because people need to see stuff, okay? People need to touch and see stuff no matter how digital the next generation goes. But if you don't exist in a cabinet, if you don't have a space with the logo, like, how do you sell something to people if they don't see it? You might as well sell shit to blind people.
I think that's a great idea by you. Listen, it's kind of sad, and it kind of does age us, or it dates us, as they like to say. It was such a great novelty to go into it was such a great feeling. Like, I remember I would go every Friday. I would go to every Friday to game. I think it was Funko Land at the time, but I would go after work. And I would look at the boxes and there was, I remember going and the magazines, I don't know if you guys remember that, like the magazines, they would come out, electronic magazine or whatever, but there was such a love affair in a way with all of that. And I know Perry and you guys can understand that. It sucks that that's going away. That hurts, in my opinion, that hurts gaming because it's not like there's no way. It's like everything else. It's come streamlined. There's no like deepness to it. You just like, it loses that special kind of thing. I mean, remember the stores and we're getting a little off topic, but and I'm bringing you off topic, but you remember the stores and the waiting at the stores and waiting all night to midnight releases.
Yeah.
That stuff was huge. That stuff was such great marketing, and now nobody does it. You know what I mean? Like it's even for the 360 when they launched the 360, that was in New York City. That was a great thing. I
was
kind of
on the
feel
line
like
all night at Yonkers, by the way, risking my
I
life
kind of
waiting
feel
for the
like they
360.
need to get back to that though. My point is
Well-
that could they do that? Like we have, like just in general as people, and with everything else, everything feels like it's going to shit. Like everything is just like there's nothing. There's like it's just like you buy it on your phone and you're done with it. There's no kind of effort into it. And maybe I'm just like I said. Maybe I'm just an old geezer. I'm 50 years old. It's crazy, but I do feel like that stuff gets people talking.
You just have to recondition people. Like think of
I
a
agree.
store, right? Think of a store. You know, when you walk out of a store, what's the thing you see before you get to the self checkouts, right? You see like candy bars and drinks, and they have all these items, but they put them they're not placed there by accident. They're placed there because as you're walking out the damn store waiting to get checked out or wait for a machine, oh, there's a candy bar, there's a Monster Energy drink. Do the same things with your games. Who says it can't be done? When you walk up to the digital counter, there's a little thing that would flash on the side, like a little advertising kiosk or a little like a piece of paper that sticks off the side and go, have you got your copy of Halo today? Right?
Yeah.
And then like here it is, $49.99 on Game Pass, or $10 with Game Pass, or $49.99 or $59.99 with a digital code. Go to the electronics aisle and get your code, right? Like that's what they gotta do. You don't change the game per se, but you gotta remarket how people consume their shit these days. That's what you gotta do. And you gotta have it again, visual, right in front of people's faces, right there, so they can't avoid you. It's not an option. You don't have to walk to the electronics section to find out there's an Xbox game out. You can see it right at the damn till. We see it every day when you turn on your damn Xbox. Oh, by the way, we pay Game Pass. You pay for Game Pass, you still get advertising. Why the fuck is that? But that's what they do, right? Put it in your face. Do the same shit at the store levels.
Right. Well, you mentioned Game Pass, not to take us off, but that's another thing that I think plays into this too. Is
Usually.
I heard, and this is from a good source. Like I said, it checked out that what he said, and then everything that came. And I showed Jez. Jez saw the tweets, and I also showed somebody else, but I redacted the name. Jez saw the name, but what I redacted it. But what Jez promised me he wouldn't say who it was. Nobody that it's. But I think day and date when she said hard choices, I think that's pointing to day and date. And I think if you ask any real Xbox fan, I don't listen. That's another misnomer. Xbox gamers spend money, man. Like we don't mind buying games. Like so, I don't know. I kind of feel like that's one of the tough choices that she was referring to.
Hope not.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't mind it if they do it. But if they're not going to do exclusives, then that's the one caveat that's the one good thing is that they can't take away.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Here's another. Hey, Microsoft. Here's another great thing. Now, Jago Kukin in the chat showed it to Jago. He has a great point. Watch this. People can't be bothered to even get out of the house now for food, right? And you want them to buy stuff at retail locations. Okay, how do you fix that problem? What you do is you put an ad in with Skip the Dishes or whoever you do the thing with, and what you do is when you send that pizza box to someone's house, there's a fucking Xbox flyer packed on the top of the pizza box.
That's not a bad idea. He's right, and he's true.
There's your new
Nobody
game.
wants to get out of the house anymore. That's a very good point.
See how you change the game, but you don't change the game? Yeah, it means you're going to have to invest. You have to do a cross-promotional thing, but would that be so bad for Skip the Dishes or Xbox for that matter? That both of them could win, right? Cross-promotions. Like you do when you sell, remember all the Xbox contests and stuff with Pizza Hut and Taco Bell and shit? It's cross promotion. It gets
Very, very
those
true.
eyeballs.
You got good ideas. I
Aaron,
like they have
Greenberg. Aaron Greenberg, you can call me anytime, brother. I'm right here.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, listen, I love Aaron. Aaron and I had always stayed cool through this, but yeah, I do think that like let's just. I'm gonna go under the assumption like I'm already over the logos, and like I said, I'm Twitter. I spent too much time. I don't care. I did that on purpose. I don't want to be in politics. I just rather spend my money, my time elsewhere. But I'm still listen. In the end, I'm not gonna be. I'm not. One of the things that I didn't like about when in 2024 was I did become hateful towards Xbox.
Mhm.
And the one grateful thing that I have now is I made friends with Jez, I made friends with Colt, I made friends with people in the community, Gaz and stuff like that. Like I kind of fixed all of that. And I do have listen, I'm a loving guy. I'd rather love Xbox than hate it. I just kind of she had me going there. But in the end, I'm still going to be rooting for Xbox and things like the store and stuff like that. I'll put it this way: when they do it and I'm gone or whatever, I'll still come on here and I'm not going to be negative. I really kind of want them. I want to love them again. I want to be happy with them, and I want to be. I even part of me, even after this screw up, like Mav says, maybe it will be something that's not that bad. I tend to get very extreme, but I want you guys are the greatest fans in the world, bro. That's what really pisses me off is like you guys deserve the world, and I mean that. And I mean that with a lot of Xbox fans. You guys are wonderful. Clobrel, you, Perry, Frank, Mav, you guys love the brand, and part of me it's like I just want them to just love you back the way you love them. And that's what I why I kind of get like fucking nasty about it.
Yeah, you can probably imagine how infuriated some of us Xbox fans felt those years. Remember all the fucking naysayers, all the PlayStation fanboys and the channels were getting free Xbox shit from Xbox?
Oh, yeah.
Where the fucking hardcore fans were getting shit all. It's like, yeah, we're the ones promoting you guys. Those guys swore on you and you're giving them the fucking
They stole our tagline. Come on, we are
Xbox.
and a week later, that's their press release. We are Xbox.
I mean, listen, I've always tried to. The one thing about me with the community, when I did have a lot of pull, I would always tell them about people like you. They even knew about. Like I remember talking to Phil about Boom. He didn't know who Boom was, and I remember even Colt. I wrote an email for Colt to get him to go to LA and stuff. There's people in the community that I've always helped, and even with my limited, I still have some contacts. I will help people. Like, somebody, nobody knows about the store. I was asked to go to FanFest by somebody. And I said, no, I don't want to go. But I said, can you do me a favor? I said, can you get my friend Robin? Because he's a friend of mine. Good Dr. Xbox, we call him. He's a doctor. And he's a really good guy, and nobody really knows about him, but he's a good fan. He's just very quiet. But I said, can you do me a favor? Can you get him in? And it was put it this way, it was a whole fucking thing. Mm-hmm. And nobody knows about it, but I stuck to it, and I was gonna take it to the next level. And that's the type of stuff that people don't, you don't see that about me, but. Perry, for me, I love the guy. He's getting all my Xbox coins. He's getting my Xbox We Did It console. And that's just because I really do care about the community. I really do love you guys. You guys are the best. It's just, unfortunately, it's like our team is in fourth place, and we can't get we need the superstars. But I really, in my heart of hearts, I still want them to do good.
Amen, brother.
There's so many people that hate Xbox. That's not healthy. That pisses me off too. It's like they just hate Xbox.
But
they
that's
want it to die.
part of it, right? That's part of it, TimDog, because as Xbox fans, you've seen your fair share, and you see even more nowadays. Like I said, it's even hard to have a social media channel, because if you post anything positive for Xbox, you get all these haters that come out and crap on you for everything, and it's like, you know what I mean? It's
100%. That's why I felt bad.
I know it goes both ways, but I've traditionally,
No,
from
it's
my
yeah.
experience, I've seen it worse for Xbox. It's like people
Oh
just love to
yeah.
hate the brand. They just hate it. And then
And
they
that's
hate
what
it,
I
and then
didn't
they love
like.
it.
And that's why I'm happy. And the point is that's why I'm happy now, is because I kind of eradicated that over the last two months, because I was one of those people, just because I was pissed off. I felt like, there was a lot of, whatever, ass kissing and this and that. So, but I was hard on the Xbox guys too. But I'm glad though that I did turn that around. So the silver lining in the story is that I kind of did mend all my fences, and I'm kind of going out in a way where it's much more positive. You know what I mean? Like, I feel better, and there's always going to be a part of me that wants them to do well. It's just I've been with them for 25 years, a huge fan. I've been to every fan fest pretty much. I was friends with all of them. There's a lot of people still at Xbox, like Guy. There's people there's a lot of people in Xbox too that love Xbox. But imagine the position that they're in. They have to play a fine line. Like Aaron's in that total position. I'm sure
Totally.
that, he's a great guy. But listen, you're dealing with a huge $1 trillion company. They're just not going to make certain concessions, I think, for Xbox that we want them to, and that's what it really comes down to.
Let's get a few thoughts from Fzah up there. Fzah, sorry to keep you waiting on the sidelines so long, but let's get you bringing in, brother, and just kind of give us your take on what you're seeing, what you expect, and again, is it just another rake in the face, a bump in the road? Can they turn stuff around? Where do you find yourself as an Xbox fan and looking at all this conundrum happening?
It's funny. The saying came to me when you guys were all talking. I feel like I think they'd say a penny wise and a pound foolish. Like they're so concerned with, um, this. Oh, we got to put the games out on other platforms. We got to be multi-plat, and it's like, I mean, you've been the biggest champion of this. If you get people on your ecosystem, you're gonna make money at every angle, every microtransaction, every exclusive game, most exclusive games you put out, people will buy if it's a franchise they're into. There's so much opportunity for money to be made. If I was them right now, I think Tim said it and Perry said it. Strike while the iron's hot. They have momentum right now, the most they've had in years. They have to do this now. They can't wait like a year and then be like, oh, now the stuff's exclusive. I would tell take E-Day off of PlayStation if it's even, we don't even know if it's coming, but assuming it is, pay the developers, whatever, get rid of it. Halo and Fable, you already announced it's got to come out, whatever. I would take a hardline stance and say, listen, all of our games are just going to be exclusive. Obviously, Call of Duty, so there's certain things that aren't, but all of the like tentpole franchises, anything single player, anything like that, make it exclusive. And I would do it right away. I mean, there's no point in waiting. Someone mentioned Elder Scrolls 6. It's like if you start this now while GTA is coming out and there's people that are going to be upgrading to this gen, if you start it now while the momentum's hot, by the time Elder Scrolls 6 is ready, you could make it exclusive because you might have a big enough install base. Right now, they can't do that. I understand, but make a stance with a game like Gears. That's really not gonna. I don't think that's really gonna sell a ton if it's on PlayStation. I really don't. I think it'll be negligible at best. Make people go out and buy the console. That's what you have to do, and you got to get them in. Even I know this is unpopular. Maybe even take the games off Steam and put them only on Windows Store. I mean, I don't know at this point what you could do, but at the very least, stop putting these games on PlayStation. And I have 2 PlayStation 5s, 3 PlayStation 5s. I have 2 Xbox. I mean, it's like I'm not coming in here as a fanboy for either side, but it's like you have, this is for the health of the brand. If they want to succeed, they have to do this. It's just the way it is, and it sucks. It has to be this way. They tried something else, it didn't work. And the definition of insanity, you keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Well, if you keep doing this, obviously, this podcast was staged that they did the other day where they said this. They knew that this was a problem, like we've all been saying. And, it's just they're trying to damage control and soften the blow, and it's like I would just do it, man. I would just take however much you put into developing Gears E-Day on PS5, just write it off as a loss. It's a little bit in the grand scheme of things of the health of your brand that could go another 25 years.
Okay. So let me ask you this and start with you, Fzah. So let's just take ourselves out of the equation as fans that we have been and are. Let's put ourselves as a new customer going in, because obviously these are the people that got to drive your business for generations after we've either quit gaming or fossilized or whatever, because people call me a fossil. But what if you're looking at the three guys right now, the three main players, right? Again, it's Sony, Nintendo, Xbox. What would make you buy one over the other? Give me your reasoning why. So if you're walking in now, you look at three of them, they're all coming out. What are your paramount things? It's games, price, hardware. What is it? We'll start with you, Fzah. What would make you buy perhaps an Xbox over the competition or vice versa?
That's tough because I always try to buy all the consoles if I can afford it. Obviously now at the way things are going, I don't know. But the number one thing is exclusive games. Like I'm a huge Nintendo fan. I'll buy the Switch 2. I'll buy whatever. I got all, that's my, I have to play Mario. I have to play Zelda. I have to play Pokemon. That's a big thing. Hardware is important to me too, though. I have a PC. I do like high-end gaming experiences. But at the end of the day, if I had to choose one out of the other, the most important thing is the content. It's just like a streaming service. Netflix has all this stuff. Paramount has Star Trek. If I had to choose one or the other, I like Star Trek. I got to go to Paramount, as stupid as that is. And I think it's the same thing with if you have to choose one console, it's got to be the games. At the end of the day, that's why we're here. Because look at Nintendo is the least powerful, but I have some of my most fun playing Nintendo games because the games are so good and the content is so good that I think that's the biggest thing.
Mario Kart
content.
World with you guys is fantastic. Mario Party with you guys is fantastic. This is the thing, right? Sometimes it's the simple things.
Yeah, and I think that's really what it comes down to. And Halo, if they tell me you got to buy an Xbox to play Halo, I got to buy it. I love Halo. It's like the best thing. I've been playing it for 24 years, however long it's been, 25 years. I mean, it's just like I got to have it, and I'll be there. If they tell me that's what I got to do to get it, I'll be there. Same thing with Gears. So it's important.
Very good. Perry, how about yourself, man? You got to walk in as a new customer. What makes you buy one over the other? Games, price, hardware, marketing?
Whatever is visible. If I walk in there and I see, all right, there's 2 sections of PlayStation, or there's 2 sections of Nintendo, and there's a very small section of Xbox, I'm going to look at between PlayStation and Nintendo, and maybe I'll ask some people there, or I'll ask the guy working there, what do you think? But it's all about, like Frank said, the content. What do you want to play, and where do you want to play it? If I want the Mario game, Zelda, or whatever, I'm going to have to go with Nintendo. If I want the Sony games like Uncharted, Last of Us, I got to go PlayStation.
Can you agree in a perfect world, it'd be one console and all the games would be on it in a perfect world?
I think we would all like that.
Okay.
But it just doesn't exist.
Except for on Nintendo, because Nintendo's ecosystem for online is absolute garbage, so I wouldn't want them there. Give me Xbox's ecosystem with the PlayStation and Nintendo games, and you'd ever not.
What was the question?
Oh, no, I think you already answered. Just basically, if you're walking into a store as a new consumer, a new customer, without all of the fanboy, without all of the histories, how do you sell that to somebody? What is important to you? What would be important to you first? As our age group, like Frank obviously said, look, it comes down to the games. I think 9 times out of 10, it's going to be about the games. But there are a lot of people too that bought their first console because it was price. Yeah, I want this console. Like, remember the PS3 when it was super expensive?
I didn't buy a PS3. I didn't buy a PS3 for 3.5 years, okay, because of price. And it had exclusives, but it was like, well, I'm not paying $600 for that thing. I bought an Xbox 360 day one, was happy.
I was going to say, it used to be that we'd wait for the consoles to get a remake or come down in price, but now we're going the opposite direction where it's like, if you wait any longer, the console's going to be $200 more expensive.
Yeah, I know, right?
Right? Everybody's like, man, I should have bought like an Xbox like 2 years ago because they were like.
I have customers, like I said, that are still on PlayStation 4 that want to jump to the next generation, and they're like, I gotta wait for a price drop, and then the price went up $200, and they're like, I'll wait till PS6.
Okay,
Ridiculous.
Mav, how would you approach a new sales scenario? Just curious.
I think it's an interesting question, just because, like, I
A lot of
think
variables.
right, like I think the typical like person going in blind, talking to somebody. Oh, I don't know what this world is. Which one do I buy? That person is not going to know enough to be able. Is just going to listen to whoever the sales associate probably is, right? Like, so I'm thinking if I'm a new customer, I'm going in there with an intention already, and that had to come from outside, right? So that's got to be probably most likely either friends or family influence is going to be the driving factor there, of like, or you saw something on social media and everybody's talking about that got you excited. One of those two things, if I was a new customer, is probably what's going to trigger me to go and want to buy a console for the first time. Otherwise, I think most people play casual games. So to be willing to go and buy something that's $500, $600, $700 plus, you got to have something really motivating that's getting you excited into going there to make that purchase in the first place. So that could either it could be whatever it is. It could be a trend, like, honestly, this is the world we live in now. Like,
I know.
It's going to be whatever that hot new thing is. And that's where I think Xbox needs to grab onto, which is super important for the messaging and marketing, regardless of what's exclusive, what's not exclusive and everything. Just, you got to be cool again. The whole kumbaya stuff doesn't sell. You have to have the energy of being the hot shit that people want and talk about. And that is the hardest thing to reverse as a brand. Yeah. Asha's been doing good in the 3 months the few months that she's been there, reversing that. And then this was kind of like that, like reverse energy. Like that whole interview with Bat Booty was completely that whole kumbaya energy stuff that they need to do away with that completely. They got to. The whole way they even do the Xbox official podcast needs to go away. It's too corporate, too bland, too boring. Like, the whole brand needs a injection of just cool factor brought back to it. So that way it's not a joke to people that are casual people talking about it. They got to have the kid at school telling their friend that they're playing something and how awesome it is. Right. And that's going to sell it to the other person. Right, that's going to sell it to the next person. Like,
good point.
That's how things work.
That's how it works.
Brands have had massive turnarounds. It just by becoming cool again. Champion is one I go to a lot. Champion used to be a joke in like the sportswear world, right? Because it was like it was like the like.
Oh, that's
brand.
The welfare brand.
Yeah, exactly, or whatever. Then all of a sudden, they raised the prices. They had better quality stuff. They like ended up, being on social media, like with celebrities wearing it and stuff like that. And it's like everybody's all of a sudden going out and getting Champion things. You can have cool factor turn around, and that's what Xbox has to figure out. They have to change the image more than anything else. So that's what would drive me, is because it's like exciting,
And for yourself, Tim?
I think Mav, he basically captured exactly what I'm feeling. Like, I wasn't going to answer the question, but I think Mav got me thinking on that point that he made, and it was a very, very good point. The it factor. So, in my opinion, the Matt Booty, Jeff Rubenstein podcast, horrible. What I would do, honestly, there's a streamer called iShowSpeed that likes video games. I believe he plays a lot of soccer games. He's very, very big, very trendy. He has an it factor. I'd have somebody like him get in the mix, and that maybe would get me in. But for the old me, and I look at that question I was thinking what I used to always look, and it was always two things. And it's not, it is games, but it's a certain type of game. It was always the game that kind of kicked above its weight for the time. I had a magical feeling about power. So power, like, now this is not really the case, because if you guys remember back in the day, power was a huge thing for me. So like the original Xbox, if you remember, was like much more powerful. Had a it had an Ethernet connection, technically advanced. Like for me, that was a real big sell point when I was younger, and also visual games like Gears or Halo at the time. I could
Mhm.
always remember being when I first really like I always liked Xbox because I was in a computer school and they were all Novell fanboys, and I was a Microsoft guy, and they always thought like I was always
Mhm.
taken to back because if you remember, Microsoft has always had that reputation of hating them because they closed the PC architecture. It goes way back, but the antitrust law. I never understood it, so I was just like, "Fuck you." Excuse my language. I was just like, "F you." I'm gonna back them. So I became a
Mhm.
fanboy in that way. But what really drew me to Xbox was Halo. I remember I saw that game. I
Yeah.
was in the game store, and the guy said, I said, What's this game?" And that's exactly this is my conversation. He goes, "That's the last copy. That everyone wants that game." He says, "If you want it, you got to buy it right now." I said, "I want it," and I bought it, and it was all history from there. That game tied me into the ecosystem. But great point by Mav. Yeah, they have the it factor right now. I feel like they can capture that it factor. It factors. They've done a lot of work from the last 3 months
Yeah.
to get it to the point that where that's what they need. They
And
need this.
the influencers and the TikTok stuff is great, but you got to remember one thing: it depends on where you put those people, right? Because we all saw
Yeah,
what happened with Mixer and Ninja. It didn't work out. Why? Because
no.
Mixer was just too small. Ninja
But I
alone
think
couldn't
over his
even hit.
not to I agree,
Right?
but his overall point though,
Yeah,
you need something that's
you
not like
do.
walking into a store anymore. It's more like what is everyone talking about? What is that trendy thing that just came about out like
That's the
six
rebel
seven,
attitude, right, Tim?
you
Like that's
know?
that the rebel attitude that they talked about. That's that energy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's about like being
Yes.
different, being something that's willing to try things that nobody else is doing, something that has something unique about it, whether it's something with the device itself or the way that they communicate with the players via their interaction on the system itself, or there's a million different things they can do
Yes. I
that
like the
create
rebel
this
thing that you just said
environment,
though.
you know.
I think that
100%.
you got very good points there. The rebel thing, if it just needs to be something stupid, like 6-7's a total example that blew up. Most people didn't notice it, but like everyone's like, even like me, what does 6-7 mean? But when that happens, like in the gaming world, when there's
Right.
something that like that's trendy that becomes a thing, like like unfortunately, here's your game. We can share your games. That commercial, that was that it moment, and that was what really drove so many people off of Xbox. They need that moment back where they can not necessarily be in somewhere they down where they just stomped on Xbox at that point. They just need something where, yeah, it's a rebel moment. It's something that becomes a cry of freedom or whatever. Whatever the case is,
Something
it has to be.
controversial, even
Yeah,
like they
yeah,
could have
but
an
like,
ad that people like are like, oh, that's freaking weird and
yeah,
crazy. You know what I mean? Like
right, right.
Levi's did it with I think Sydney, was it Sydney Sweeney or somebody? I can't remember who it was, but like everybody was talking about this ad, and then like you had groups like, I don't like this, whatever. But
Oh,
it was
American Eagle with Sydney
Yeah,
Sweeney.
American Eagle. Yeah, that's what it was. Like you have these huge moments that capture kind of just social media and
society.
news and attention, and so
Mhm.
and some people are like, that's cool, I don't care, you know what I mean? Like that's cool, I like
Exactly. That's
that's
all it
what
is.
gives you an identity, you know.
Yes, you just said that. You just said it's cool. I don't care. That's exactly what they need. And the thing is that let's be honest about Xbox. It really, if you look at it just for like the fact that you could actually take your game, have it Xbox Play Anywhere, play it on your phone, whatever. Just like let's take Persona 5. You could
Mhm.
probably play it on your phone, but you could pick your game up and go anywhere, like you're watching Netflix, like you just do on your phone. Like when you watch a movie, you watch it on one device, cross device. Nothing like that exists other than with Xbox, really. Maybe Steam's doing it, I don't know, but they're not on the scale. Sony's like way behind. Nintendo's like, like preschool. So you basically do have a lot of things, and they also have content. So for all the things that Xbox doesn't have, with the, obviously with the messaging and all the things. They have really a lot of tangible, great things that they just need to somehow get it communicated. And I really, Mav's point of Jeff, and I listen, I like Jeff, but that's just, that's why they got rid of Major. It was because they said that wasn't resonating with people. And they basically gave him his walking papers, which I disagreed with. But they talk like us, like they want that it factor. In my opinion, they went way wrong with that. But yeah, like they do need that moment where they kind of can capture a viral moment, and that they attach it to the brand, and then that's when it really happens. And who knows? They might get that. I honestly feel, as negative as I started the show, there's still part of me that really wants to be positive. As much as I didn't like what happened with that, I really do believe in Asha. I really think that she gets it. But these are the things that she came into this raw. She came into this not knowing much. And from what she's learned in February to now, she's done great, in my opinion. And I think in a year from now, you're gonna see like things that maybe she partners with Netflix. I think that might be an idea that she could do. I don't know, because of Game Pass. Because if they could keep Game Pass the way it is, and they don't get away from day and date. If they could actually get that to get like where it should be, that would make everything good. If they like the original Phil idea was, you would get 70 million subscribers. Everyone would be on Game Pass because it was so awesome, which it was, which it still is. And that would offset the, selling on PlayStation. But what happened is it hit its plateau. It didn't really grow. It didn't grow at Call of Duty. Obviously, they had made their decision, but it didn't grow the way they were expecting. But if they could ever get there,
didn't message it and market it properly, though, too. Like,
yeah.
It's like so many people don't even know what it is still.
Mike used to say that. Ybarra, I used to talk to him about it. But listen, I mean, I think it's kind of a hard thing with you. I don't think you're going to get. I think the way they could get mass appeal, and if they, the thing is if they did partner, there was a little bit of a rumor there. They did partner with Netflix. That's like a perfect match in heaven. I guarantee you, Netflix would be like, guys. They would come in and be like, it's only on Netflix. That's it, guys. Xbox and Netflix were a team. It's only on Game Pass, which is going to have affiliation with Netflix. You guys are taking everything off of everything, because they do believe, if you look at Netflix programming, and they're all Paramount Plus, they're all competing. It's all exclusive content. So, you don't, that's why, the whole exclusivity thing becomes such a question mark for Xbox too, is like where everywhere else, with media, there's exclusive content and just in general exclusive. But listen, guys, I really love you guys, and I want them to do awesome. So as much as like I was pissed off, I felt like this was kind of really a good show where I kind of just like got my frustrations out on it. But I'm still looking forward for them June 7th. I've kind of accepted the fact that they're going to have logos, and I guess maybe that was their intention. I don't agree with it, but we'll see what happens. You know what I mean? At a change of a moment, a change of, Sony screwing up really bad. They seem to, their security. It's another thing I don't like about Sony. And when you talk about like pluses and minuses, Sony security's dog shit. I mean, it's horrible. So, yeah, you got a problem there. I don't like putting my credit card on there. With Microsoft, I just, I'm very comfortable with Microsoft. They haven't had any they have had some breaches. You're going to have that. But in the day of AI and AGI coming, security, you're going to have major breaches again. And facial recognition, I don't want any of that. I know that I don't think they do that in UK. They do that, but there's a lot of things that could go wrong for Sony. And in the end, I think Xbox still is competing with them, even though they're putting their games on there.
Yeah. Well, I think like Game Pass obviously is still a big part of their ecosystem moving forward, and I think it is an essential service, and people can still see the value in it. Even even when they put the price up a bit, I'm
You
glad
guys
they
still
rolled it
there?
back a bit for sure. There's still value there. That's still phenomenal. Even
Yeah,
when
we're
it was
here.
at its most expensive, none of us can still say like you weren't getting your
I
money's
don't know.
worth. It was just. It was just.
I don't
It
know
was
if you
just.
fell asleep.
No, I'm right here.
You can't
Yo,
hear him,
can you-
Tim? Are you there? I
Nah,
think
I can't hear him. Maybe it's just me.
Okay.
There you
Yeah,
go.
he's talking. Yeah.
Can you guys
Okay.
hear? Okay, because my cat
I can
is
hear
kind of here. What the hell? What are you showing your ass to the camera, cat? What's going on?
What the
Come on, you
hell's
fluffy
happening?
bastard. You fluffy bastard. Anyway.
I think Sony got to us. They didn't want- they
There you
didn't
go.
want-
But as I said, the Game Pass obviously is an integral part of it going forward. How you feel about this?
Sony just sent a nuke.
But I was going to say, like, the restructuring is going to be a huge part of it going forward. Now, one thing is something like the Game Pass Ultimate tier, but it was like they limited the amount of day and date games that you could pick. So, say they did like you get your day and dates, but you get to pick, say, maybe like 3 or something a year as part of a package instead of giving it all. So you pick and choose. Obviously, most people would probably pick the more popular games, but like even like I said, a different selection tier. I think it's going to come down to sort of like how like cable services and some of the subscription plans have gone over the years, whether you subscribe to like again you're lower tiered with ads or you go with a higher tier and stuff like that. I definitely think they're going to have to look at how that's distributed because like the thing is, right, like let's think the hardcore guys, like a lot of us here, day and date was a bonus for a lot of us. For a lot of us it was like dangling the carrot. It was a way to get people to subscribe. But it wasn't like the be all. Like you got to remember that Xbox gamers, we were paying for Xbox Live Gold long before they gave us anything with it. You know what I mean? We were paying for that. So, like we're still willing to go out and buy the games. As you guys have seen by my physical games I bought in the last week or so, we're still buying those games anyway. So it's like, while it's a great savings, and I get it, saving money shouldn't be the only massive draw-in for your service. It's like it should be like, I think it means more to people that don't have a lot of money. But if you're a working class person and you can afford to buy your damn games, we're not going to play them all anyway. Well, I get to play all these games, but how many do you really get to play, right? Like you don't get to play all these games. So you only have so much time in the run of a year, regardless of how affordable something is, right? So I think you're definitely have to restructure it and figure out what the different levels of fans are willing to pay and what they want.
Yeah, man. Good points, dude. I think
see
Tim
Tim
probably
Dog
has
now.
some. I think he probably has some technical difficulties because I don't think he could hear you.
Okay, yeah, maybe.
But yeah, I do have to dip though because I have
All right,
I gotta be on another show in an hour, but I also need to run out in between and do
Okay, bro.
something at the
Well, I
store.
knew we were going to run overtime today. We're actually quite a bit longer than this podcast normally runs, and we actually went
Yeah.
off on this topic way more than I expected to, but that's okay.
No, it's to be expected
yeah.
though. It's been good hanging out with you guys.
Big
Fzah, Perry, New as always, bro. It's always good hanging out with you. Chat, you guys rock. Make sure you hit the like button for New, sub to his channel. Hit that notification bell for him, everything, because like all that stuff greatly helps. And we don't. And all of us hosts, we never say that stuff enough. I'm guilty of it too. But like, don't forget to hit that like button for sure for him.
We do.
All right, guys.
Well, this is not the only. The gaming's not the only crowded scene these days between the podcasts and the streams. It is like it's insane right now. It's insane.
Yeah, I used to have 4 shows a week, bro. I mean, I'm down to 1, and then the second one that I do sometimes. But yeah,
I have to ask you though, Mav, because you were doing a lot of shows at one point. Did you ever get to the point where you felt a little bit of a burnout though?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Because that's happened to me obviously multiple times. People know that. I'm actually quite happy with just doing the one now. And doing some guest spots. It's actually working out better for me, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm kind of getting that energy back towards like I'm looking at doing some like trying to do some more, and then it's like but I don't want to get back to that point to where it was overwhelming and felt like every night you got to make sure you're there at a certain time that limits what you can do with your family and all these other kind of things. And then it's like, what do you talk about today? Because you just talked about this stuff yesterday.
Yeah, preach. Yeah, amen.
So it's I might do the Mavcast thing more regularly, like as well as the podcast, the regular podcast, but that's always been a kind of thing of like, I got to feel passionate about something to dive on and do one of those. So it's going to be interesting if I do it regularly, how it's going to work out. But man, you're awesome, dude. Mad respect for everything you've always done, and you guys rock. So it's cool hanging out with you, and I'll listen while I'm out driving. You guys have a good one.
And go subscribe to his channel, guys. It's Fun Speculation on YouTube. It sounds like it reads Fun Speculation. Go hit him up, follow his channel, and check out a lot of his good views. And he's got some great panel members and guests, including Fuzzy Belvedere. Hangs out with them a lot as well. He was on our show just recently with the best camera in the game. Holy shit! I thought I was watching a movie.
Yeah, he's crispy.
So, holy crap! I kept like, man, that's amazing. Yeah. Good stuff.
We should have Pong will be hopefully making an appearance. Yeah, he'll be back for our showcase coverage. We'll be co-streaming everything.
Great.
Starting next week, Tuesday and Friday and Sunday, for all the co-streams of the big events and stuff. And Pong should be there for the Xbox show. So if you've missed Pong in the community or whatever, you come hang out and say hi to him. Peace out, guys. Have a good one.
Take care.
Yeah, I do miss Pong, and there's a few other guys in the community too that have kind of just went missing. It's good to see Glitcher back in the game too, by the way. Who is Proto Fox's brother. Obviously, we did a show a couple of years ago, him and Jago Kukin and I, and Invader Gaming and Proto Foxy, and it was called the Gaming Dosage Podcast. Even
I was one of the 10 silent viewers in the chat. Always listening to that show.
Yeah, I love the name of the podcast. The Game Dosage was great, and it was a good little show for what it was at the time. And like I said, unfortunately, Glitcher had his issues and kind of went AWOL, and the podcast kind of shut down. So, but yeah, it's good. It's good to see the boys back. Anyway, let's go with you two guys. I won't keep you too much longer, but let's go quickly about what you expect to see from the showcase. Fzah, anything in particular other than what we know? We know we're going to see there's a Gears E-Day thing right after the showcase. They're doing their whole show on that, so that's good. We know that Fable's delayed, but we're going to see more footage apparently. So, anything outside of the kind of what we do know that you're hoping to see or expect to see?
Well, I know we're gonna see Halo, but I hope they show some of the changes, because I know there's been like a bunch of rumors floating around that they're gonna add like enemies from later entries in and kind of rework the some of those levels in Halo 1 are kind of repetitive, so they're gonna mess with it. So I want to see that, because that game's supposed to come out this year, so that'll be cool. I hope they bring back some older stuff, but that's just like a pipe dream, like the usual banjo and all that stuff, but I don't think that's going to happen. I'm holding out hope for Wolfenstein 3, because they never ended that, and that's an awesome franchise that I love, that I really want. I know they're going to show State of Decay 3, which at this point I don't even know what's going on with that.
I think it's actually decaying at this point. Yeah,
it has decayed. I think they might show Blade. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's still too early. I don't know.
I forgot about that one.
Fallout, there's been a rumor for Fallout 3 remaster for like a million years, so maybe they'll show that. Maybe we'll get Death Stranding 2 on Xbox, or Final Fantasy or something, one of those games that's still trying to come over. I don't know though. See, it's hard because they announced so much stuff so early that I forget about, and then they show it again and I'm like, oh, I forgot that even existed, because they announced it 5 years in advance, 7 years in advance. So I don't even know like what they're going to show here, but those are just some of my hopes. Obviously Halo and Gears are the big ones this year. Right. And like I said, I really want to see Wolfenstein 3, but I don't know. We'll see.
I like those picks. That's great. There's some safe stuff there, but yeah, there's a few there I definitely like. Perry, how about yourself, man? What do you expect to see, hope to see, all that stuff?
Just like Frank said, I'm excited to see Halo if they show that. I want to see what they're going to show, how it's going to look, how different it's going to be, if it's going to be any different. Gears of War is the one I really want to look at, though. That's the one, and they're going to show it, and I can't wait. And we're going to have everyone with us. We're going to have Dreadpool back from the dead. Wicked Hot's going to be there. We're all going to be together live streaming the showcase.
If that PS5 logo hits, there might be blows.
Jump on a plane. It's not till next Saturday.
It's making me so depressed. Yeah, I mean, I'm off next weekend, and then we're still waiting for our travel agent to set us up on the Vegas trip here, which is not looking like it's going to happen during that that weekend. Probably going to be going in Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Right.
But yeah, I think it'd be kind of if it goes ahead, it'll be kind of a pickle to get down to New York area and then have to come back and then go out to Vegas. So.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Fly from New York right to Vegas.
There you go. With something the traveling Noof Nukem. That's right. And if only I could fart my way there, eh? There he goes.
You could solve our gas shortage.
I think you could just beam your way up, right?
Yeah. Do you want me to call the Enterprise? We'll beam you over.
That's right. Can we board Air Force One and fly me around? Great picks, man. Yeah, like obviously the logo thing was we spend a large part of the show talking about the logos, which we think we can all agree on. And I think the panel was unanimous today that it's a bit of a misfire considering everything that, basically that Ash has laid down the foundation for over the last couple of weeks. It kind of feels like you're going reverse, but maybe that gets remedied. I mean, right now we kind of know what games are coming for PlayStation. That can change dramatically, I think, moving forward. At the end of the day, I don't think the majority of us really give a shit if certain games go there, but I think we can all agree that you can't have your flagship games. You can't have your identity games being a part of their, I don't care how many copies. Is it really like for selling an extra million copies or whatever it might be on PlayStation, is it really worth like you're salvaging your brand to do that? You know what I mean? It's just because it's about optics. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's going to be an interesting show. I mean, we got to think this is the first show that they've run now without Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond being a primary part of the stage presentation. We know we're not seeing any hardware, obviously, but I'm super excited for the Gears of War Emergence Day. We haven't really seen a ton of that. They've kind of been keeping it low profile. I think it'll be a return to form, the Gears of War. I really do. I mean, because they're obviously taking us back to the content that really, made that franchise epic. The original emergence of the Locusts, the relationship between Dom and Marcus, which was amazing through the original trilogy.
Looking forward to that co-op or multiplayer, whatever they end up doing with that.
Yes.
Now. Correct me if I'm wrong, but did they never did officially announce Gears of War E-Day for PlayStation, did they?
No,
not yet.
Okay, so they still have that one close to their chest. So
I think that's why Tim was pushing so hard for it the last few months, because he knew that that would be the game that you would have to do it with.
Right. But do you think that the reason they put Gears of War Reloaded on was to see what kind of traction they would have got on a competing platform? Or do you think that was just like a way to pad their account, make some extra money in a game that they basically have already made?
I think it was both. But I think it was they hoard out the brand to put a 20-year-old game on a competitor's platform when they don't realize that people that were on the 360 that played that game already jumped to PlayStation 4 and they're on the 5 right now.
Right.
So I don't think they understood that. And that's why it didn't sell well on the 5, because people already played it 20 years ago. You know what I mean? Not everybody, but a majority of people that jumped, they already played it and they had fun with it back on the 360. Why would they buy it on PS5 for $40? You know what I mean? Right. And by the way, the competing platform, the Xbox, you sub the Game Pass for $1 and you can play it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's the whole thing that I don't think Microsoft gets. Like Starfield, they just sold it. What was it? A month or two ago? I bought it physically from GameStop just as a ha thing. But I don't think that sold well because you had people on PlayStation that just paid $1 and played it on Game Pass.
Yeah, and I think what a lot of people don't realize with today's
you're just whoring out the brand for nothing. Like you're doing the wrong moves.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, obviously, if you're not really going day and date on your competing platform either, you're not doing those games a big service either because. Unless it's a franchise that you really want. Like if Spider-Man came over to Xbox tomorrow, right? The original game, right? Per se. It's going to do okay. It'll modestly do okay. But would it have done as good while the hype was there? Because you're competing against a lot of products right now. And I think that's the thing, right? Like if you're not kind of in a certain window, and I say give it 6 months. After 6 months, the game is almost like done and forgotten. You know what I mean? It's like look at this Indiana Jones now, right? It's finally coming to Switch and stuff, which is fantastic. But how well is it really going to do? Because most of who really wanted the game already bought it on Xbox or PC and played through it. So this is the question I have. Like, only those guys know, because they're the only guys that do the metrics. And I think it's great that they're still bringing over the games. But my point is, it's just that the gaming community has a very short attention span for games, and if they don't fire while the iron is hot, like they miss a window and they don't maximize sales, they're a bonus at that point. I guess as long as you make more than it costs to port the game, I guess it's a win-win, right? If you make your money back and it doesn't take up your devs too much time, which in a lot of cases is not bad, because you usually get like a third-party person to come in and do the ports or whatever. But like that's the thing, right? So I don't know. I'm excited for it. Like I said, the logo thing is here and there, but I think moving forward after this showcase, like I said, I'll give Xbox and I'll give her the benefit of the doubt for about a year. And then we're going to find out if her role actively changes the direction, or if she's just another pretty face and another puppet that Satya ultimately will basically kick along with Matt Booty, string us along. Because that's the thing. Like Tim said, like, fool me once, or what is it? Shame on me, fool me twice. That kind of deal, right? Like, you
That's
don't
how
want
Frank and I have been feeling. Like you felt like that too at one point, Noof. You know what I mean?
Well, totally. And don't worry, I'm still.
I want to see results already. Like, we're tired of hearing it. It's like the drunk uncle. Like I just need one beer. Like, and then he has one beer. No, I need one more beer. Like, he doesn't stop.
This is my last beer. I'm telling you. And then it's my last
beer. Right? He's 150 beers in, and it's like, all right.
But that's the thing. Like, that's why if they show the PlayStation logo for E-Day, I don't know how much longer I can take. It's like, all right, that's kind of the end of it for me for now. I think I might hop off at that point.
Yeah. Well, and again, and I said this earlier, and you guys would probably agree, because the price points now, not only of games, but of the consoles, is getting much higher. These decisions they make now are more paramount than ever before. They're not making remember we had the original consoles, and then you had like the cheaper slim versions. We haven't seen that in a while. What we've seen is prices go up on games, on controllers, on physical media, on subscription services. Everything has gone up. So with money shrinking, with inflation, the tariffs, the whole 9 yards, depending on what part of the world you live in, money is just not growing on trees for people, which again is why Game Pass is paramount. I agree with that. I think, again, Game Pass value becomes more apparent than ever. Dropping the price was a huge move for them. I know it's not huge, but it was a step in the right direction. We can all agree on that, right?
It needed to be done.
But they're going to have to restructure the tiers so it makes sense for more people. There's a lot of us who didn't give two shits about Fortnite or EA games or Ubisoft games. So don't bundle that shit. Let people pick what they want through the money they're paying, and then we'll go from there. But they're going to have to restructure to make sense. Like for me, day and date never. Look, I think I understand why they did it. We all understand why they did it, because that's how they draw the people in. But I don't know if they expected that day and date was going to override the people that normally bought the games, that they were going to, you know what I mean? So the people that normally buy Forza Horizon 6, how many people went out and actually bought the game, or are you playing it through Game Pass? There's a huge difference between the two. Because if you're playing it on Game Pass, you're playing it for what, $10, $12 a month? But if you bought the game, then you paid them a lump sum. Now they're only going to get the lump sum once, but you see the difference. There is a difference here, okay? Yeah. So one is essentially you're renting stuff. The other one is essentially you're buying it, even though we don't fucking own it. But there is a difference. Yeah. And I'm not saying one is better than the other. I don't shit on anybody that wants to play their games through Game Pass. But for me, a game like Gears of War, that is not a Game Pass game. For me, that's a day one, because I'm a Gears of War fan. And I'm going to buy that shit. And that's the part that concerns me. Like when people that are normally day one people go, I'll just play in Game Pass. Is that how important the game is to you? That you want? I guess where the other money goes, they don't spend it in Xbox. They're going to spend it and probably buy a PlayStation game or a Nintendo game with that money, when they should be buying an Xbox game with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I hear you.
I mean, they're buying games. A game is a game. I get it, but it's just where the money goes. It's
on other consoles. I buy games when they come out. I just bought the Ghost of Yotai. It's on sale right now, but I bought it because it's like I want to play it, and they're not going to put it on PlayStation Plus. So I mean, I'm just going to buy the stupid game. I waited till it was a couple of bucks off, and I got it. But and same thing with what was it? What just came out? Yoshi. I didn't even freaking play it yet. I bought Yoshi on there. Yep. Whatever. It is
But
what it is. If that's what I have to do to get the game, I'll do it. And Gears E Day, if that's not day one in Game Pass, well, guess what? I'm buying it anyway.
Great point, though.
Yeah, I'm not going to wait to play it.
You own all the systems, which makes your purchases crazy because you're buying shit for everything, and you're still buying the Nintendo games, even though they're full price. Nintendo ain't saying shit for $30. Like, they're full price games, and you still buy them, which is amazing. But like, that's like, you know, we're in the what do you call it, the anomaly phase. You know, we're the few people that do that
we're not everybody. That's what I'm saying. Like, we're not flexing or nothing. It's just, it is what it is. Like, I've always bought all the consoles and I've always had them all. That's why I'll play my games anywhere that I can play.
I probably average like about 6 new games a year at full price. And everything after that is pretty much stuff I bet on sale. Like I bought Mind's Eye because it was on sale, right?
Exactly.
I wouldn't have normally. Not because I don't think it's a decent game and stuff. You know, I got slammed by reviews. I've been playing it and streaming it, and it's actually pretty damn good. But because it wasn't really like in my top games. Like everybody has their top 5 list, and everything outside of your top 5 is probably a game that you're willing to wait for or willing for a price drop. And I think a lot of us fans are like that. Like, realistically, how many games would you say that you would plunk down 100% day one? You got to have that game on day one. That's the question, right?
Right.
Definitely
like Fzah,
Nintendo game.
Fzah, you like, if a new Nintendo game comes out that you want, you buy it day one, right? So probably on average a year, like, you buy at least 4 full price Nintendo games.
I think altogether, like PlayStation and Nintendo, I haven't bought much on Xbox lately. I probably like 10 to 15. I mean, I buy a lot of games. Like,
we buy a lot of games because we played it online together. Like, the whole family plays. My wife and I, we game share on Xbox, but we barely use the Xbox anymore. That was our primary console. Now she's starting to use PlayStation because she's got the Portal, and she actually likes using the Portal with that thing. So she's starting to buy her games there now. But like, we all play the games together. Like, we'll say, hey, this game is coming out as multiplayer, like Gears E Day. Wherever that's at, we're all going to play together. So we're all going to buy it. You got 4 guaranteed sales right there.
And also, too, like, sometimes one of us will take a chance. And like Perry, he got 007, and he's like, this game is awesome. And then a whole bunch of us ran out and bought because we trust each other's opinions. And that'll sell games. Like, more games than I thought I was going to buy. I just bought Lego Batman. And I got Yoshi for my daughter, and I was like, okay, I'm good for a while. Then I saw 007, and the FOMO got me, and here I am with another full price game. It's I can't escape. Like, sometimes I'll just end up buying a game I didn't think I was going to buy, and then there's other games where I'll wait for a sale. I thought I was going to buy it, didn't buy it, and I'll wait, and you get it for cheap. So it depends, but I think it probably 10 to 15 full price games a year at least.
A couple of great points here in the chat. Like, Jaco says this. See, and this is exactly the point I brought up. He didn't buy Forza, so he bought the James Bond Collector's Edition because he's probably playing Forza through Game Pass. You see how that works? Yeah, I mean, Microsoft still got his subscription dollars, right? And he'll still get to play Forza, which is good. But then that extra money went over to buying a third-party game, right? Again, either which way you're buying games, it's going in. It's not like it's a bad thing. I'm just saying there's a thing here. Metroid also brings up, this is my biggest gripe probably with Game Pass, is my Game Pass is the time to play ratio. Can't personally play all those games in a month. Obviously, a lot of us feel the same way. It's almost too much. It's there's too much selection. And my thing is like, yeah, people say Game Pass is amazing because it's like an all-you-can-eat buffet. Well, the thing is, if you go to all-you-can buffets, like, I might be a fat guy, but I really don't eat a ton of food. Like, if you've seen what I eat, you'd probably be actually shocked. It's like, man, if you don't really eat a lot. So no, I just eat the wrong shit and I eat it at the wrong times. But like, when I go to a buffet, like, I'm probably usually full by the time I get to about $10 worth of the meal. You know what I mean? I'll pick the few items that I really like. That's what I'll load up on, like bacon. I can't resist it. But do you think if I'm paying $30 for an all you can eat, do you think sometimes I'm really getting my $30 worth? Probably not. Because again, you're going to look 2 or 3 items, you're full. Now there's that odd guy that goes in. I see them all the time. They go to the buffet and the fucking dude's on his 4th plate already. And that guy's getting he's getting his shit and then some. You know what I mean? But that's the anomaly. The most of us are paying far more than we're actually getting back because we just don't have the time to consume it all. right?
No,
So
I'm still
that's why they
stacked
got to
with Game
restructure
Pass.
Game Pass, right?
I'm still stacked with Game Pass till August, and of course I have cards over here that aren't
Well, the
used.
stacking thing too.
So I'm going to be stacked for the rest of the
year.
year, but I barely use it because I'll be honest with you, a lot of these indie games go in, and I'm not an indie game guy. You know what I mean? So yeah, I feel like it's become Indie Pass and not so much Game Pass.
Let me ask you this then about the game. Now, obviously, this is about the game, so I don't know if we'll hear this information, but do either one of you guys think we will see perhaps a Game Pass announcement restructuring at this show, or do you even think that Microsoft is bold enough to drop the entry level and make it free online?
I don't know about that.
Not here, I don't think.
Not at this show. Do you even think that eventually these guys would drop it? Because we've heard the rumblings, and I think it would be massive.
Here's the thing: if they drop online, they can't charge for it every month. So I mean, how are they going to make money? Because then you're putting in, well, you need Game Pass to play online. You don't need Game Pass to play online. You're going to just take a bunch of people and move them over here that aren't going to pay for online anymore, and then Game Pass is just going to be Game Pass, and will that eventually fizzle out on its own without needing online?
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know if they're going to take. Sony is definitely, they're going to just keep raising the damn price of this thing.
Yeah.
I think Microsoft might look at that and be like, why are we going to cut off online when they're charging more money?
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, like I said, I've
know.
never had an issue playing for gold, but it has to be kept within like a reason. Like for me, if you're just playing online, I don't want to pay for the extras. Just bring back the goldish pricing, like, because realistically,
I would totally do that.
Realistically, like, why do we play online? Like 4 or 5 types of games. You're not like playing everything. You know what I mean?
Just
and they
charge
finally were
$60 a
bold
year
enough
for
to
online or something.
Yeah, and they finally were bold enough at least to get rid of that stupid paywall. Remember when PlayStation didn't have the paywall to play Fortnite in those games? And obviously people were gravitating to playing it on PlayStation because they didn't have to pay a subscription to play the free-to-play games. They finally got rid of that, which was a huge move, by the way. Thank God they got rid of that, because then it allows people to play. But that's the thing. Like, if you're charging online, I don't have a problem with it. But I'm not paying like $15 a month to play a game online. And that's ludicrous. Like, make it a little bit less expensive. Like, bring it back sub $100 Canadian for online gaming. I don't give a shit what you give me for free. Game Pass Gold, I could give a shit about the free games because most of those were garbage anyway. But just bring me back affordable online gaming. I don't care if I'm paying. You guys are getting my money, but just make it affordable. Like you said, $10 or less for an entry level. I mean, they got right now, what's it? The Game Pass Essential is, I think it's $13.99 Canadian right now, which is not terrible. But I don't give a shit either about those 25 or 50 shit-ass games you give me to play. You can take that crap out of there too. I don't need that stuff. Just let me play what I want to play, how I want to play it for a price that's affordable. I'll give it to you.
Exactly.
Look what Nintendo gives you for $50 a year. I mean, granted, their online sucks, but hey, it worked enough for us to play games. We get all the retro stuff. I mean, that's not a bad deal.
$25 it is in Canada for the Nintendo Basic Online. I think it's like 35 or 40. I think for their, what do you call it? Their Nintendo, what do they call it? Premium expansion.
Yeah.
Like the stuff that they give you for the expansion, I don't need. But it's worth the $25, and that's why I subscribe to them. Not because they got the best online. I subscribe so I can play games with you guys. To me, that's worth the $25 easily. But that's like, to me, that's like a sensible amount to pay. Because what do we play? 3 or 4 different games. We're playing Mario Kart 90% of the time, and then maybe we did Animal Crossing. Maybe we do something else. There isn't a ton. Now, Call of Duty could change that in a big time, and this is what I'm fearing too. That once Call of Duty lands on Switch, Nintendo might start seeing the numbers go up and seeing all the activity and be like, yeah, maybe we should pay. Guys are going to pay more for the online because now Call of Duty is bringing in 1 million players.
They will raise the price.
You got to watch that. I've been thinking about that. I was like, fuck, Nintendo may be like, ooh, look, now all of a sudden we got all this online traction. It's not Mario Kart. So let's fucking jack up the online cost, right? I'll think they're scumbags. I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to get a big right there for me if you do that. And I wouldn't put it past them because most of these companies are scumbags anyway. They can make another $2 a fucking month. Don't do it. Right?
But imagine if they keep it and it's the cheapest place to play online on Call of Duty is Nintendo. Like, what?
Right?
It's insane,
It's huge. It's like bringing Call of Duty. This is the first time since the fucking shit ass Nintendo was a Lear.
The Wii U. Black Ops 2 on the Wii U.
Okay, think about that. And they had crappy online back in those days, like crappy. At least this is like a step up big time. So I think this is a big announcer for them to get this game on there. I mean, that was what was promised, I think, as part of that ABK deal, which is good. Now, how it runs is beyond me. I suspect it's going to run fine. The graphic fidelity is probably going to take a bit of a hit, but I mean, if they can get it at 60 and it's like, and it's still respectable, like it looks, even if it looks as good as an Xbox One version of Call of Duty, they look pretty damn good. I'd be okay with that. Like, I just want Call of Duty and play with you guys in an ecosystem that's like that. Like I said, it's fun to play, and we could have those private game matches and set up. I think it'd be awesome.
Yeah.
It would be interesting.
Yeah, but Nintendo's infrastructure can't handle CD. It would be Activision servers, right? Not Nintendo's.
Right.
Is that right?
I think
beyond the Activision servers to handle the load, not up to Nintendo.
I believe. Yeah, I think you're right, because it's not a first party game. So
yeah,
I guess so. Yeah, I guess you're right. I don't know. I'm not sure how all that works.
Everybody gets banned.
Activision account and all that.
Metroid COD on Switch 2 Game Chat Trash Talk's going to be crazy. All the little kids that are playing on the Nintendo version. Hey, you son of a bitch! Your mother.
Well, you'll see a lot of ugly people now that you can use a webcam on Nintendo.
Oh my lord!
Oh, I forgot about that. Oh my god! Can you imagine that?
Oh, you're playing COD in the lobby. You see everybody's faces. Yeah.
One time we were playing Mario Kart and Noof turned his camera on, but he was holding the cat, and it was a cat's head on the car driving around.
Oh, can't wait, guys. Can't wait to do that. That's why I'm going to have the double dip on that game. Oh, shit. I mean, look, for my predictions for the show, I mean, I don't know. I think if there's one thing they could at least announce that I'd be excited with is one. I would love to see something new from Rare. Perhaps you're working on something since Everwild got canceled. That'd be cool. Even better is if Rare come in and said they dedicated a whole team to making a new Banjo-Kazooie game. I mean, the fans have been crying out for that. We need more platformers, that sort of thing. We've said a million times, I think TimDog or somebody brought it up in the chat about 1 versus 100. If they brought back something like that for Game Pass, it'd be massively huge. I think that's the kind of shit that's built for Game Pass. You need something to bring people in. And again, if somebody ever makes a kart racing game, oh my God, an Xbox kart racer would be absolutely insane. Again, it would be meant for Game Pass. That's the kind of stuff that I would keep my subscription for, to play with you guys. And to play with, Marcus Phoenix and a go-kart would be absolutely hilarious. Can you imagine a Locust guy? Like, you got General Rom going around in a go-kart. Be like Donkey Kong, right?
That'd be awesome.
Right? You know what? One of his special moves should be like when he gets in front of you, he has this big old knife and he's trying to stab you in the back with it. Of course, that would probably be a little too violent for the kids.
You should put Kim's dead body on his windshield.
Oh my God!
Oh, it's like on the front of the car.
Side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so much they could do with that.
Right?
Could you imagine?
Yeah, and one of the levels could be like a Gears inspired level, and the Brumak is sitting off to the side and he's shooting rockets down at you.
Yeah.
That'd be so cool, man. Like, that's how they need to do it. That's how you make it as good or better than Mario, is have level inspired racetracks that have stuff from the games that would make it cool. Can you imagine like running over, be like bowling, you get a Halo level and there's one part of the track there's like 20 like grunts and you do the bowling thing, you hit them and then see how many you can knock down as you're driving.
Oh man.
Or
the grunts have to be playable for sure. Imagine driving around as a
the
grunt.
Warthog in the kart racer game. That'd be crazy.
The Warthog in there and the Gears vehicle, like all of those special things, dude. Like, the idea is here. It's like it's a license to print money for Xbox. And how the hell it's even been this long and not do it? How can you lose? Can you do bad with a game like that that's guaranteed to sell?
No,
and they got the teams to build it. They got the Crash Bandicoot team who made the kart racing for them. Like, just get them to build one, right?
And all those guys could be in it because they own them. Spyro, Crash,
oh my God,
all be in it.
All the Killer Instinct, Jago from Killer Instinct and Full War and all those guys. They could have, and the thing is, if you're on Game Pass, they could launch like an extra cart or an extra character like every month or something. You know what I mean? Like it again, license to print money. Xbox, like, we're handing you the stuff on the platter. We're telling you what we would buy, and it makes no sense that they're that dumb and they're wondering why things are flat. Because you got to give people what they want instead of giving us crap that nobody cares about. Bottom line, right?
Yeah,
That's
for
it.
real.
Man, just a Gears of War, just Marcus Phoenix going around with the chainsaw revving, and that's one of your moves is to saw people in half as you go by. That'd be wicked.
There's just so much they could do, man. It's crazy they haven't done that yet. I mean, look at Sega with the.
You get up on the podium, take the Lancer, and you saw the number 2 and the number 3 guys. You're sitting there on top of that'd be so cool.
Look at Sega with the Sonic Crossworlds. Yeah. They put all their guys in it. There's Yakuza guys in the Sonic game. It's like anything. Like, that's exactly what they should do.
Anything. It's a Quantum Break sequel. Well, we'll wish for the end of eternity for the Quantum Break sequel. Rise. How many people have said, man, we need another Rise? Can you imagine a New Age Rise, but how good the graphics were in the first game? Holy Lord.
Yep.
Yeah, Mario Kart is hard to beat because Nintendo has a lot. That is true. Nintendo has epic characters that people know and love. But that's the thing. You like for Xbox, they don't have to beat Mario Kart. They just got to put a good, solid game on Game Pass, and it would help sell Game Pass. It would keep people invested, is what I'm saying. It's not like it's going to come out and beat Mario Kart and copies sold, but I guarantee you, it'd be a reason for especially families with younger kids that love kart racers or hardcore guys like us that would buy it just because of the nostalgia and the epicness of it. It's a no-brainer, man. It's a no-brainer.
I'm sure my kid would get a kick out of Marcus Phoenix chainsawing another car as he's driving by.
Right? Oh my God. It'd be so cool.
What is that man doing to Banjo-Kazooie? Don't worry about it.
Can you imagine the Doom guy like sitting in the cart and everything like that? Just they got like so much stuff right now.
BJ Blazkowicz from Wolfenstein.
Oh my God. He's just like, like, oh man, the license to print money is right on the table there. Honest to God.
Yep.
And if you want new content, guess what? You can't buy it in a store. You got to pay for Game Pass to get it. There you go.
Have a battle pass that's just cosmetics that you get with Game Pass.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be like a Fortnite thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
It just lends itself to us.
It would be huge.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. You guys have any further thoughts? I don't want to keep you too long. This has been a dynamite show. I can't believe we were 3 hours and it felt like we've been here for 20 minutes, at least for me anyway. But TimDog was amazing today. Like I said, you love it because I can hear it in your guys' voice. I can certainly hear it in his, like the passion. And it's not like the console warring. We get it. It's part of it. Some people have built channels on the whole shit. Some people aren't wrong. The hate sometimes drives more views the crap. But at the end of the day, I think a lot of us just speak out of passion. And it gets mistaken for, you guys are just console warriors. No, we're passionate about this brand. We spent a lot of years of our life like endorsing them, buying them, that sort of thing. And again, if we're only going to own one, you'd prefer to own the one that you love the most. But if the one that you love the most is basically cheating on you, you're gonna kick them to the curb, right? You're gonna get tired of it. At least you hope so, right? You're going to get tired of it. You're going to move on to someone else. And that's what we feel like. We feel like Xbox has been flirting behind our back, has been cheating on us with the competition. Why should they reward their fans, the PlayStation fans who hated us for years, who hated the community, hated the games, shit on everything that Xbox did? Why should you reward them? That's my question. Because you want to make a few extra bucks. Yeah, you won't sell as many copies by not being on PlayStation, but at least you'll have fucking integrity and you'll still do well. Because guess what? The Xbox guys who kind of weren't buying your shit for the last couple of years because you've been pissing them off might actually start buying your shit again. That means buying a second or third console. That means buying the game when they were probably going to buy it for the PlayStation because they'd rather buy it on Xbox so they could play with their friends and the community. See how this works? It's not rocket science.
Well, my whole thing is, really quick. My whole thing is, it's not that, I'm delusional and I don't understand that Xbox, they're not catering towards me. Listen, we want the brand to succeed because here's the thing. If Xbox goes away, Sony can run roughshod on pricing or whatever. You need somebody in the market. We've seen how this went down with Sega. Sega went away and Nintendo was like, you know what? We're just going to sit in our own corner now. There's no one to pick on anymore. And that was it.
Yep. You're 100% right.
I mean, we can't have that again. Like, you need competition. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It is what it is. But hopefully they do good. And if they step on a rake again, then, I might be out. Like, they might have to wait for me next time instead of me waiting around for them all the time. So.
Yep.
Yeah, we got to see what happens on Sunday, and then we'll
I got all the consoles. I'm happy. So let's see where it goes.
like I said, my money is going to be tighter next gen. My time is going to be tighter, and I'm buying one or the other. And it's going to be about who I think offers me the best bang for the buck. I don't care about the power. To me, consoles right now are pretty damn powerful. The games look pretty friggin' damn good as it is. So it's going to come down to who's giving me the best bang. If ultimately 95% of the games are all on PlayStation, and you're charging the same shit for your online, basically, you have to. Why would I stay? Is it just about my collection of friends? I mean, obviously, I want it to be Xbox. I'm doing the community game nights for a reason, and I can do them on Xbox for a reason because the community loves to play games together, typically. That's where it is. But you're right. Competition breeds innovation. Competition is what keeps the industry interesting. When it doesn't, and don't worry, Sony's the first people that will kick you in the ass when the competition goes. They're not shy about it. They're not shy about it.
And you know what? Microsoft would do the same exact thing if Sony got out of it. So, I mean, that's the whole thing. These companies they need to keep themselves in check so that we win, the consumer, not fanboys, but the consumer. That's what it's all about here.
Consumers win when there's competition. You see it in every facet. We see it in the sports games. That's proof alone. You know, I was downstairs last night. I was playing my old Xbox, and I got a bunch of games, right? My good buddy Seamus Kelly's in the chat. He gave me a bunch. I have 4 baseball games to think of my hands. I was like, there was World Series baseball, high heat baseball, MVP baseball from EA. You see the point? They were all pushing each other to be better. And you know what? Those generation had the best sports games because everybody was trying to one-up each other. So graphically, one got better.
Man.
One got better modes. One had all this. And you know what we get now? The same copy and paste crap because nobody else is competing to push them. They have to push themselves eternally. But why even do that much when you got to turn around a game in a year? And basically, you know you're going to sell because you're the only guy making one. So you get all the money regardless. That's the problem. When you know your bottom line goes down, remember NFL 2K and that, what was it, the $25 game or something? Oh, did that see that's that? And guess what EA did right after that? Let's buy the license
for 20 years.
Yeah, buy the fucking, see, that's how, and that's Sony. Like, that's the dirty shit that Sony would pull. When as soon as they feel somebody breathing on their neck, they would pull that shit. And you fucking guys in the chat, you know it. You know it. That's the shit that they do. And that's why there's this disdain. That's why I have a little bit of a disdain for Sony, because they would gladly bury the competition and not think about it. Well, Xbox is over here digging their own grave and pouring dirt on themselves.
That's why they got to stop being nice. I keep saying Microsoft needs the balls back a little bbit in the competition as far as like fighting back. Stop being nice. Stop, catering to other brands. It's like Sony would destroy them if they could. They would if they had an opportunity to get rid of them or Nintendo or anyone, they would do it in a second. They do it all the time. They do underhanded, shady stuff. They don't make games because they know they're getting the games from over. It's like they're just giving them the win.
Well, look at the Blade thing. The announcer for Blade, Xbox putting their money behind the Blade, finally getting their own Marvel game. But guess what? They're like, it's going to be on PlayStation 2. PlayStation did not want Spider-Man to be anywhere close to the Xbox, now did they?
No, they won't give them anything because they know that they want them to fail. Whereas Xbox is like, oh, it's okay. It's like, no, it's not.
What I was speaking is the truth, right? This is the thing, is the truth. But if Spider-Man did come out for Xbox, it would help move some Xboxes. It would help get people in their ecosystem. But that's the thing. Sony's not worried about you buying an Xbox. They're worried about you spending time in their storefront and buying shit from Xbox storefront because then they get the money. Yep. That's the bottom line. That's what it's all about. It's keeping people in your ecosystem because you spend more money there. It's common sense. And again, the thing at the retail level, I'm going to reiterate this again. If you guys want, no matter how digital you fucking go, you have to be in the stores where the average person needs to see what they are buying. You can't rely on showing up to a YouTube channel for guys like me, Perry, and Frank to tell you what game is coming out. There are no game magazines around anymore. There's internet shit. But guess what? Most people have the attention span of a gerbil. They spend 5 minutes on there. They don't see nothing. Maybe they see an advertisement on their TikTok, but that's where they get their shit from, right? So you got to be in the storefront. As I said, it's not that hard to even pay for some shelf space and put like game cards in there. This is a game that just came out. Put it front row and say you can't have it on a little side shelf. It can't be in the back of the store. It's got to be front like it used to be. When you brought out a big game back in the day, guess what? You saw it when you walked in the store. You saw it all over the place. When I walk in my GameStop right now, I don't even know Xbox exists. Like, you literally got to go to the back corner. There's a stupid little shelf, and half the games are just used games, and maybe the little cards saying pre-order now, because that's what they do now. Like, they don't even put new games on it. Like, I remember when I first used to go to my GameStop, they had a counter right in front of you, and behind the counter used to be a massive wall of all the new games, and they literally have stacks of them packed up there. Now, there was a kid the other day, he couldn't even buy 007 in GameStop because he didn't pre-order it. That's bullshit. Why can't, like, people walk in your store and you don't have a game to sell people unless they have a fucking pre-order? That's retarded. At least have a half a dozen copies. My God, man. Like, what is this? You know? Fuck, man. I tell you, if you walked into a pharmacy and they didn't have condoms, you'd have a lot of pregnant people running around. Right?
Well, you got to pre-order the condoms, Noof. Come on. You don't know when you're going to be getting on.
We got another super chat coming in from our good friend Lord Metroid. He drops $2. His competition keeps companies honest in gaming also. 100%. In every competitive nature, it's new products, marketing, that's what keeps people honest. Why do you think the fast food restaurants keep reinventing their menu? Because you got to keep people bringing in. If the trend is coffee, you get coffee. If the trend is a new bubble tea, you got to get the bubble tea. It's, you know, but you got to try to do it not just well, you got to try to do it better. That's what, yeah. So, yeah, man, Noof, look at the back of the box of the games as a kid. Yeah, I mean, I used to love it. We all did, man. We all love going into a store, picking up a game off the shelf, looking at the box, reading the covers, you know, even getting the manuals out at one point, you know? You know, shout out the games that still do some of that shit, like the Terminator game that I bought there on the Switch. This one right here, you know, came not only in a cardboard package box, but came with manuals, an actual manual. I know that doesn't mean a lot to most people. I think it was kind of a cool thing, you know, to actually see how the game plays. They have pictures in there of the game. That shit's cool, man. To me, it's cool, right? Yeah, it's not that hard to do, but of course the environmental phase. Oh, they can't cut down a tree and make a manual. You know,
look how clinical the PS5 game is. There's just nothing. It's just a disc. It's like sad. Like I miss the manual.
Yeah,
and they still have the clips. Like they oh, in case we ever do
there's
it.
Clips there.
Oh,
that's for your receipt. Yeah, every once in a while there's always that one anomaly.
Ooh,
most of the time that's just promotional.
Oh,
shit,
that's cool.
Nice. That's Sonic Crossworlds.
Yeah, is it a naked lady like the old Sega ad? What do we got here?
Looks like I gotta go get her. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, well, so at least it's something, right? That's
not quite a naked lady, but there's a T-Rex there, so I guess that
wins. Oh, there you go. It's kind of like some of the girls I dated, big head and small arms.
Oh man, I don't know, man.
I like to go. Yeah, indeed. Yes, physical for the win. I will keep going until there's no more physical. Yes. At Best Buy, was there no Xbox section? Well, so like at my local Best Buy, they're taking out most of the games now. But when you walked in there, you'd see like Nintendo. Like when it was getting skimpy, you'd walk in, you see Nintendo. There'd be tons of Nintendo games. Walk over PlayStation, a fair few PlayStation games and their controllers and headsets. In Xbox, all you see is Game Pass card, Game Pass card, Game Pass card, 2 or 3 games, probably NBA 2K, Call of Duty, and whatever other was the popular flavor of the month. The rest, nothing. It's like I just said, I walked into Walmart. I was trying to look to see if they would even have that new Lego Batman game, which you'd think, you know, for being a Lego Batman game, they'd have a couple copies. Guess what? Not a copy to be found. So how the fuck do I buy Lego Batman for Xbox when I'm not there? So guess what I do? I either have to come home, 1, order it online, or 2, I got to buy it for the competitor because I have a Switch and I have a PlayStation. My money is probably going to go to one of those guys because they have a copy in the fucking store. It's not rocket science. Again, you can't be doing this shit. I don't know who's in charge, if it's at the store levels, if it's at their level, but somebody who's in charge of distributing this shit needs to get the shit together. Either go and talk to your retailers and say, we still have to do this much. Here's an incentive for at least putting our games or these games in your store. Because again, it's marketing in itself. Having something on the shelf where people can see it is marketing, whether you like it or not. Doesn't always mean somebody buys the game, but when people somehow think that you don't even have the game, that's a problem. It's like Sony paying for exclusivity that doesn't exist. If you only see the game on one console out of 3, guess who buys what? They buy it for PlayStation. They think it's exclusive because I don't see it on Xbox. I don't see it on Nintendo. I see it over there.
Yep.
Like, come on, guys. I'm not a marketing scientist. I'm not a genius. But if sometimes I feel like we are literally the smartest people in the fucking room, and we don't get paid by these people.
Hey, we gave them the freaking slogan, man. Where's the money at?
Yeah, I love that. Did you make that shirt, Barry?
Yeah, you got one
awesome.
too. I'm gonna send you one.
That's awesome. WAO. I love that. I love it, dude. That's awesome.
I got the logo instead of, so it doesn't say wax, but it says wax.
Wax. I never even noticed that little wax.
You should have made Noofs WHACKS.
Oh my
wax.
God. Yeah, I was gonna say he should do that shirt, and on mine on the back, he should do the logo and WAX and put off underneath it.
Yeah.
You can do that if you want.
Oh man, Gaming After Dark is alive and well. It's still here. All right. Any further things you guys want to just talk about? Did we miss any topics kind of for today? I don't want to keep it too much longer. We've been here like, holy shit, 3.5 hours. Longest show I have done in probably 3 years.
I got to get going soon.
It's been a great show that's been clipped, by the way. So you're good to go. Anyway.
I guarantee you, it's going to be a few clips on this one.
Get
about 42
check your DMs, Doof. It already has been clipped.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. All right. I think I got all the super chats, guys. Yes, I did. I think I managed to get everybody today. I don't know if I got this one from D Fashion. Oh, yes, that was Starbucks, and that was earlier today. Yeah, so we had like a few super chats. But I want to make sure that we got them all in. Thank you guys again for being here. All the people, you guys are amazing. The chat was unbelievable, and you guys kept it. Despite some of our topics being a little heated today, and certainly some very valid but hard opinions. Everybody kept it very respectable today, which I completely admire. Nobody got out of hand, and I didn't see a lot of personal attacks. Which is awesome because we have a great panel here, and we agree to disagree at times. We're not all in the same boat, but I think we all have our hearts in the same place. We just want all these companies to do well. Obviously, we want Xbox to do especially well because that's where our heart is at. That's about it. But we look forward to the show. I can't wait, by the way. Yeah, you guys got a big event. Maybe tell people about it because I am super jealous and super sad that I cannot be with you. We have a big anniversary coming up, Perry, next weekend here. And you guys are going to be doing like some live stuff. So just give everybody a let I know what's going on.
It's the 10th anniversary of my store being open. It's also the 20th anniversary of me being on YouTube.
Wow.
So we're celebrating everything all at once. We have people flying down from the community, back from the dead, who was in the chat earlier. Dreadpool and his family. We have Hockey Fan and his girlfriend flying down. We have Wicked Hot driving in on next Saturday. He'll be driving in with the Demon.
Damn.
Then Proto Foxy, he's actually the first guy that's going to show up. He's going to be here on Wednesday in 2 more days. Sorry, 3 more days.
Extra days of Proto.
Yeah, so I'll be with Proto, and then Thursday I pick up Dreadpool and back. I got personal friends flying in on Saturday locally.
Oh wow,
it's going to be insane. We're going to try to have the live stream going all day, but we're going to see how that works. But we do have a surprise for Noof on Saturday night. So make sure, Noof, that around 11 p.m. you're around and you check out the show.
I will guarantee to be there for you, brother. Guaranteed.
Because I think it'll be very interesting and you might want to watch it.
I can't wait to pop by your stream and say hello to everybody.
Yeah, because we got some stuff planned. And besides that, Anthony is also coming up from Let's Talk Resident Evil over on YouTube. I want to subscribe. He'll be here with his brother Nick, who I do the wrestling show with.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, geez, it's gonna be a ton of people here. We have people that are that we know from YouTube that are coming that they don't have YouTube channels, but they're people in the chat. I mean, everyone's coming up. It's great.
Oh man.
We're going to try to cover the events too. Summer Games Fest, Xbox show.
I think we're more likely going to cover June 7th, the Xbox show, because what are we really doing on the Sunday?
Right.
So you're going to get all of our reactions. If they come out on stage and say, yeah, we're doing multi-plat, you're going to see a lot of us disappointed. You might see some of us cheering. I don't know. I don't know who that person would be, but it might cause a fist fight. I don't know.
Yeah, I may have to join somebody else's stream for next week instead of hosting Crazy About Gaming because I don't want to be too much of an overlap, and I don't really feel like doing it myself. Nobody's here, so.
Well, if you want to jump in, you can jump in.
Yeah,
we'll have all the equipment.
Yeah, I'll probably just jump in with you guys or whatever. We can all shoot the shit. Be good, man. It sounds like a great time. I'm so jealous. I wish I could be there. I'll make it up to you one of these days. Don't worry. I'll be able to get.
Well, you're
down
gonna
there
need
see
at
you
least $75,000 to make it up to me. So you better start saving now.
Start playing.
Wow, I better get that OnlyFans page started ASAP. That's right. You've gonna flash some nickels.
Oh God! All right, someone should clip that. If you're gonna clip anything, clip that.
Oh man, guys, awesome. Obviously, Fzah, you're gonna be there.
Yeah, I'll be there. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Fred's gonna be there, and you know what? If Asha makes the wrong decision on Sunday, maybe Fred will pour green milk on his Series S. Or maybe
Lord.
blue milk, right? Now that they're going
Whatever they got.
PlayStation. Who knows?
Yeah, that's right.
We're gonna
Fred
cover
will
the
have-
PlayStation show
Fred,
too on
Fred
Tuesday.
Fred should dress up as Hitman. Put the tuxedo and the red tie on. Be like, I'm about to get you guys.
Dude, I thought you said another H word, and I was like, what the hell is he talking about?
Oh no! He's gonna dress up like him. He doesn't have enough hair for that.
He actually. So funny story about Fred, really quick before we go.
Yeah.
When Fred was a teenager, okay, he went to the movies to see Slender Man, okay, but he was dressed up as Slender Man. And he talked to the people at the theater beforehand. They were like, you're cool, whatever. Dude, he goes in. People see him in the theater and they start running out screaming, he's going to kill us. Some guy's going to kill us. They call the cops on this guy, right?
Yeah.
And the cops show up and they're like, what happened? He's like, hey, listen, this was all a thing. Like, they told me to go in there and all that. And the people moved, they're like, yeah, we told him to go in there. Like, and then they didn't arrest him, but then people on Facebook, locals, were like, oh, he better not see me next time. I have my gun with me. Like, they're threatening to come after Fred. Like,
he didn't do it to scare everyone. He was just screwing her. Like, you know, they told him, like,
yeah,
oh,
like what's worse thing? You're gonna take out a gun to every person shows up as Darth Vader for a Star Wars movie? Like,
I don't know.
That guy has a lightsaber. Get him.
The theater told him to do it. They thought it was funny. I guess it wasn't funny to. It was like mass hysteria. People ran out of the theater screaming.
Doesn't surprise me.
It's a good thing he's not a big porn fan, because he might have shown up at a porn theater as Blender Man. You know what I mean?
And the funny thing is, that's actually an article on comicbook.com.
Wow.
And Fred didn't know that until like 2 years ago. I was like, hey, there's an article from like 10 years ago about you.
Nice. Oh, wow. Crazy. Oh, man. Great. Well, yeah, so keep us posted. Certainly, guys, make sure you check out those streams next week, because it's going to be a cast of amazing people all hanging out together. I'm super jealous. It's going to be a fun time. Check it out for sure. Don't forget, the guys, today it is Community Game Day. I hope to see some good participation. I know not everybody's making it for Game 1. We are starting at 6 p.m. I'll get this right this time. 6 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Mountain. That's 5 p.m. Central. It is Rocket League. Hopefully get a couple of teams together to have some fun on Rocket League. I'm pretty crappy at the game, but it's a ton of fun regardless. And after Rocket League, we're going to kick off with some Titanfall 2, which is a classic shooter that's amazing. We always have a great time playing that game. So hopefully I'll see a bunch of you there today. I know Seamus is coming out. He'll probably make some people will miss the first game, but hopefully be there for the second and all that good stuff. So we hope to see you there for Xbox Community Game Day. If you're not sure how this works, make sure you add Nukem, and I'll post it in it just how my gamer tag looks. It's in the chat. Okay. I'm going to post it there. So it looks like this in the chat. I'll post it up on the screen for you guys. That's my gamer tag, just like that. Noof with a space, Nukem, not my Twitter handle. And just jump into the open party. You're going to see me online, open party. If you're not adding me as a friend, make sure you send me a DM so I can add you, and I can also send out the invites. It's that simple. It's not hard shit. Just make sure that you got your games downloaded and updated, because that's always the big problem. Titanfall, right now, I think Rocket League was like 30. It had an update on mine. It was like 32 gigs altogether. Crazy. And of course, it shouldn't be too much updates for Titanfall, because that game's been out for a while. It's been kind of put to bed. So, but yeah, it's still active, and hopefully we'll see you all later on today. Yeah, Titanfall 2 is certainly one of the best first-person shooter games ever. That campaign is nuts. If you've never played it, go play it. It's awesome.
I've never played the campaign. I've only played online with you guys a million times. I played Titanfall 1. I played the shit out of that game. That was a reason to own a VCR Xbox One. Just to
that was a great game.
It was a fantastic game.
Yeah, but that second game, man, that campaign is nuts. You owe it to yourself and play it because it's really good. Like it puts some of the Call of Duty stuff to shame for sure. Vincent Pella at his finest. God rest his soul. Hopefully that the Titanfall franchise does come back, even though he's not around to see it done. But yeah, let's go with that. All right, guys, amazing show, amazing chat today. Satanist, thanks for stopping by and being a new fan of the show. Scott P8N, Jago Kukin, Lord Metroid. Many thanks to Mav and TimDog for being here today and making this an amazing show. Cougar Man, Venom Dave. Like I said, the list goes on, guys. You're absolutely amazing. Thanks for being here. If I missed anybody, obviously Talos Ray, who's awesome. We had D. Make sure we say hello to D before we go, because that guy is a super supporter, guys. We love you all. Thanks so much for being here. Hope you enjoyed this massively long version of Crazy About Gaming, which definitely on my today. I'm sorry, got a little passionate. Obviously, my language got a little bit more R-rated than normal, but yeah, we had a good time today. Everybody had fun, and I hope you enjoyed the show.
See you guys.
Take
See
care,
you guys
guys.
next week for the Xbox Showcase. Boom, boom, kaboom.
Hell yeah.